All right, here we go live in Las Vegas on a Thursday. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Thanks to our friends at Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend. Save $3 off any large or family-sized pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. We are inching closer and closer to kickoff on Sunday. I would imagine tonight will be the big night where everybody starts to come into town for the game and starts to see a little more of the build-up. And we've got our big party tonight, and we hope to see a lot of you out there. If you're flying out, maybe you're flying out in like an hour or two. You still got plenty of time to get to Vegas. There's no reason for you not to be at Circa tonight, where we're going to be broadcasting an extra special 2-hour, after dark edition.
Yeah, 7 to 9. Kansas City time will be the show time. We'll be 5 to 7 here, 5 to 9 local for the party. If you want to come out and see us at Circa Swim, we actually went up there yesterday. Gold had his betting show there last night. Got a preview of the cabana. And look, it was a bit brisk.
Heated cabana.
Nice. But we're good to go. We're looking forward to tonight. I also, maybe because it's Circa Swim and it's near a casino, not even asked him. Pete Sweeney just volunteered his time down there tonight. So if you ever wanted to meet Pete Sweeney, well,
now everybody's going to come, man. Now you mentioned that.
I don't know how that's not going to drive everybody there. You see the flowing locks. Last night, I think, he said, why are you going to give me a hard time at the Perrier? I was like, I wasn't. I said I was just making an observation that you're a Perrier guy. Drink your sparkling water, man. No complaints.
Danan Hughes is going to be there. He'll be doing players only tonight from Stadium Swim. You still need a RSVP, but you can still do that. It's free to enter, 21 and older. We just put out new links on social media. You can also go to the Circa website to be able to RSVP for free entry. Wear your Chiefs gear. You'll get a free drink ticket. We believe our sister station, 95.7 The Game, is also going to be out there. They're trying to tell 49ers fans. Yeah, we haven't seen them yet. Thinking of people we haven't seen. Bill Romanowski.
Is he ducking us too?
Bill Romanowski. Haven't seen him yet. Maybe today's the day.
Maybe. Coward.
Drew, as he texted you back, for those who don't know, last week after he called Patrick Mahomes a crybaby, we said we got to get him on the show, and Cody said he's going to call Romanowski to his face a crybaby. Cody's ready to take a punch.
Good news for the text line. We are working on it. He is here, and we're trying to set up a time for tomorrow on the show for him to swing by, even if it's for 5 minutes.
Is this working on it like we were working on Little Dicky to get us a lyric? Which, by the way, that ain't never going to happen. That dream died in the shortest amount of time a dream has ever died on Radio Row.
No, because I'm getting a response from him. I never talked to Little. If I asked Little Dicky himself, I actually think it might have worked.
You never even got to Little Dicky.
I didn't.
You couldn't even get close enough to speak words to him.
I could not.
Damn, that's tough living. I think Romanowski's ducking us. I keep saying, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. All right, tough guy.
All I'd have to, if I find him, all I'd have to do is play him the clip of you guys saying what you said. And
then he'd be happily come over?
He would love to come by.
I'll be honest. I prefer you didn't play that clip for him before he came over. But you know what? It's fine. I stand by. Again,
do you want to play it when he comes over then?
He's not going to punch me in front of all of these people. I don't think it's a 100% chance he won't, but I don't think he will. He's got too much to gain. He comes to Radio every year.
It's a 5%
he socks
chance.
One local radio jerk. He can't get anywhere in this business anymore.
You can watch the show, and certainly if Bill Romanowski comes on set, you're going to want to watch it on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook as well. So appreciate those of you who have been watching on the stream. Also, those that always interact with us on the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7610. So here's what we got planned today, other than potentially having Bill Romanowski stop by. We'll see that interaction. We're going to have Danan Hughes join us coming up in about 30 minutes. He also will tell us about his players only show tonight. We'll have Chris Fowler join us. He'll be doing the Super Bowl on the international television call. Trey Wingo going to give us a little betting advice. Him and I and Cody will talk a little betting. Also, Chase Daniel, former Chiefs quarterback, former Missouri Tiger, going to join us, get his perspective on the quarterback matchup. And then Tony Pollard, starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Looking forward to talking to him about the Cowboys season and looking ahead, and also what he sees in both of these running backs. Isaiah Pacheco and Christian McCaffrey went up against the 49ers defense earlier this season, and so it'll be interesting to get his perspective.
Last thing to get to before we get into some actual game stuff. After you ceremoniously threw the Raiders hat in the trash, you placed it kind of near the table just in case somebody needed, but upside down because you don't want any Raiders logo near here.
Yes.
Did someone steal it?
The hat's gone.
By the way, of course.
The hat's gone.
You know what? It perfectly embodies what you have said on this show this entire time. Raiders fans are trash.
That's right.
They can't even help themselves but steal.
That's exactly
from
right.
other people. They had to come here and physically steal from us in addition to, like, really? That's what it takes? You can't afford your own hat? I got that for you as a gift, and now it's stolen.
Well, I threw it in the trash. And then, the trash was probably the proper spot. Somebody else walking around that's a Raiders fan, unfortunately, figured, you know what? I can finally get myself a Raiders hat, you know?
I can finally afford it.
Yep, it's some trashy Raiders fans. So the hat is gone. But I didn't want it sitting on top of the Chiefs logo. That was the key. We're not having any of that.
Yeah, that's fair. That was the right choice. I got no complaints about that. I just can't believe someone actually stole it. It's so ridiculous that in addition to that, Gold, it would actually get swiped by somebody, which makes it just all the better. I'm not going to lie.
We'll talk more about it a little bit later on today, but we had a little Fremont experience.
We did.
Last night as well. We had some dinner overlooking Fremont, and we'll have to talk about Drew a little bit. There was some things he wasn't expecting.
No.
On Fremont Street.
You know what? He hadn't been here since he was a kid, so I don't think he fully understood what it was.
There were a few things, I think, that caught him a little off guard. And then we did a little gambling last night. You might see on our social media, we put out a video. We did a $100 challenge. You can check out the video to see how we did. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show as well. But let's talk a little football here to get things started off on a Thursday edition. We've kind of talked about Mahomes and Purdy and how everybody views both of these quarterbacks and the potential path after a win for either on Sunday. And what does that look like? It's obvious on the Mahomes end. He would have his third ring. He would be pacing past Tom Brady.
And win or lose, he's the best quarterback in the NFL, and we're not making that argument anymore.
Brock Purdy, while nobody's going to ever say he's a top 3 quarterback in football, I think that would be foolish even with the win. Everybody would view him a little bit differently. Wouldn't there? Or do you think people would say, well, okay, you got Debo, you got Ayuk, you got Kittle, you got McCaffrey. Yeah, you got a ring. You're better than Trent Dilfer, but are you much different than some of these other quarterbacks that have had teams kind of take them there? Doesn't it depend on the performance?
Young, yes, but because he's young, he'll probably get thrust into the conversation a little bit faster. What I was trying to ask myself about it last night is, all right, so I know there's a gap. I mean, obviously. But what is the highest? I could personally convince myself that Brock Purdy is right now. If I'm just like, if you just decide to buy in, Gold, you're like, all right, you know what? What I've seen this year is that he threw 30 touchdowns. He had less than 10 interceptions. He had a good number of passing yards. He had the best team in the NFC from a record. If I just buy in and I say that's who he is all the time, what is he then? That's probably, if you did all that and you just bought into that's who he is permanently, he's probably quarterback 5 through 8. And I'll tell you right now, the difference between quarterback 1 and the quarterback 5 through 8 is significant because that means you're still not in that class that is that half step below Patrick Mahomes, which means I'll go blow for blow when the time comes to it. And I just don't know that yet about Brock Purdy. That's what makes this quarterback matchup so interesting is that that's a hard thing to justify.
To his credit, in the second half of these 2 playoff games, right, he has actually gone out and made the plays. He has used his legs to go and make plays. And so that's the difference. If that's what he does in this game, and it is him having to make big-time plays in big moments, which he's done in the playoffs, then that puts him in a different category. I was asked yesterday, I think it was in Green Bay, and they were, of course, talking about Jordan Love, and they're like, where do you put Brock Purdy compared to Jordan Love? Where do you – they listed off 10 or 15 quarterbacks. They said, tell me stop when you think Brock Purdy is better than one of these quarterbacks. And obviously they go through the usual suspects, if you will, and Mahomes and
the ones you can blow past, Allen and Burrow and Mahomes.
Here's where tell me if you agree. This is where I said, okay, stop. We got to start having a conversation. So they started listing off individuals like Trevor Lawrence and Jordan Love.
Oh, I definitely think he deserves to be in that conversation.
And I said, stop right there. Now, I when he was at Jalen Hurts and I said, keep going. I think it's in that range of, all right, if Brock Purdy, even right now before a ring, I think he already should be discussed where Trevor Lawrence and Jordan Love are, for crying out loud.
Of course, Trevor Lawrence is not even, he's won a single playoff game?
Yeah.
Against the Chargers, a team that can't win playoff games at all?
I don't subscribe solely, though, to the QB win-loss in the playoff thing. Like, at some point...
No, but his team's not competing enough at the top enough for my taste. He's not doing enough winning in general.
Right, but if you're like this, there's a balance, I think, on both ends. I mean, if you are playing at a high level... and your numbers show that you're playing at a high level and your team is just, gets knocked out in the playoffs in the first round, I don't think it is that the quarterback is necessarily always going to be downgraded for that or should always be downgraded for that. I mean, by win-loss standards, Alex Smith over the last decade has been a top 5 quarterback in football. Nobody's making that case.
But the difference is that Trevor Lawrence is putting up Alex Smith stats, winning less than Alex Smith, and we talk about him like he's Joe Montana.
Oh, I don't think
I know that. I know the talent he has. I already told you. I think the fascination with Trevor Lawrence is because he is robot quarterback made in a lab. Yeah, he's the size. He throws the ball the way it's supposed to look. He does the clean footwork.
Agreed.
But then all the things look good on paper, but then when you put the man on a football field, it doesn't translate to that level of play. That's why I think Purdy does belong in that conversation, because he does those things that Trevor Lawrence does too. He doesn't have the arm talent, right? He can't throw it 79 yards down the field, but he does everything else right. He stands back there, he's composed, he delivers the ball. And it is hard because I think people do want to knock Purdy, and this is where I try to draw the line is I think people do try to knock Purdy, be like, well, look at all that talent, like you said. And I'm like, yeah, but what is he supposed to do? Like, that's his job. It's not his fault he has a bunch of talent. It wasn't Mahomes' fault when he had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
But people were critical
they
then.
gave the ball to him.
But we all know that.
Oh, I know. The first year, people didn't
even though Mahomes clearly is, even early in his career, I feel like showed that he's one of those special QBs. But people were critical then. They up until last year, even heading into the Eagles Super Bowl, there were a lot of people that said, okay, well, he's had Kelce and he's had Hill. Let's see what he does when he doesn't have those individuals. Well, last year, without Tyreek Hill, he ended up having a Super Bowl win. This year, he dealt with, at times, what seemed like an aging Travis Kelce. And that, is going to be something that now looks extremely foolish because, once again, here they are with a weak wide receiver room, and he's in the Super Bowl. So it'll probably take a year in which Brock Purdy goes to an NFC title game or Super Bowl for some people without having, let's say, one of those star players. But this is always the conversation. It's not unique to Brock Purdy. But I think he's absolutely right now above where Lawrence and Jordan Love are, but not by much. I don't think it's like this clear cut. If Trevor Lawrence was in San Francisco, do you think Trevor Lawrence has this 49ers team in a Super Bowl? I don't know how you could tell me no, though, either.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
If Patrick Mahomes was in San Francisco, Patrick Mahomes they'd be undefeated.
It'd be 17-0.
Yeah.
It probably is the answer. By the way, our big game coverage brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card, at ChiefsChecking.com. We mentioned getting Brock Purdy and getting him off his game. You know who the guy is to get him off his game? It's George Karlaftis. I know you thought I was going to say Chris Jones because that's an obvious choice. Karlaftis is the most important player to me from the defensive line perspective because of the absence of Amenahue. I know what Chris Jones does. I understand the consistency in which he can perform. But it is important that George Karlaftis has a big game in this one because Amenahue had been taking heat off him too. Let's just be honest. Amenahue and Jones, it was easy for George out there. He got to do these one-on-one coverages over and over and over and over again and kind of just not coast, but be comfortable and attack the way he wants to. I think that this is the biggest game for George Karlaftis. He might be the most important player on defense outside of L'Jarius Sneed in this individual matchup. I understand Chris Jones is the better player. Karlaftis is incredibly important in this game for me.
When you don't have a Amenahue, yeah, I think you're asking him to step up in a big way. Your best pass rusher is Chris Jones, and then after that, it is clearly George Karlaftis. Before you would have said Charles Amenahue prior to the injury, but now he has to step up. I also think, though, you're not going to say the answer is Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who might have 8 to 10 snaps designed for him in this game. This is actually, to me, a Mike Danan game as well. I think there's a little more pressure. Now, you're never going into a Super Bowl saying, man, we're really counting
Mike Danan closes it out for us.
But I think he's going to have a role. I think he's going to have a pretty decent role for this football team to have success getting after Brock Purdy. And that's actually an area where I think they will. And that's one thing that making Brock Purdy have less time than he has had in these other games against the Detroit Lions and against the Packers. The Chiefs are a much better defense than Detroit or Green Bay, not just in the secondary, but still up front in the way Steve Spagnuolo is going to design pressure, creative blitzes. I do want to see how Brock Purdy handles real pressure, both directly from the Chiefs and also the external pressure, which is just the magnitude of the game.
Yeah, the external is the whole nother challenge. The internal pressure, I actually kind of know. It's like most quarterbacks. Not good. Well, because especially in an offense like theirs, man, where they're designed to get the ball to their playmakers and let them do the work. It's not an accident that Deebo Samuel is one of those guys that absolutely blows up when you give him the ball 7 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and then he gets to take it another 40. Throw off that timing, and it's different. Dana's an interesting one because I just told you Karlaftis is incredibly important because I agree with that. Dana's interesting because he sneakily had 6.5 sacks this year. What a quiet little nice season from Mike Danan. It was the Emmanuel Ogbah of the year, right? Where you're like, ooh, nice little season. someone's probably going to give you a little money.
That's probably the type of contract
for a 5, 6, 7 sack guy, and you're going to be feeling pretty good about yourself. But he does become more important. The ancillary players along the line that we spent less time talking about become more important. Karlaftis is just the one where I don't think he's fully emerged into this, right? He's not Max Crosby. We saw him on Radio Row yesterday. He's not Max Crosby.
Of course not.
But he feels like, given one more year, Karlaftis could turn into one of those game-changing, on occasion, defensive linemen, right? He's a 10.5 sack guy. We should not dismiss his season based on that. But he still needs that extra half a step for me to feel like he's going to do that all the time. Show big in the Super Bowl? We might be having even higher expectations for Karlaftis going into next year.
The one thing that I'll be curious to see how Kyle Shanahan tries to exploit it and how much trust do the Chiefs have in Felix Anudike-Uzomah or anybody else. Yeah, this applies to Karlaftis too, although I think he's shown us, is how many times does Kyle Shanahan try to bootleg Brock Purdy to really put potentially the rookie in a bad spot, to potentially put Karlaftis in a bad spot. You know, that would be something that I would be really curious to see, in particular, how they end up scheming that going up against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what they're going to do. Purdy, pressure up the middle. That's why Chris Jones is still important, like you'd mentioned. The scheme part of it would be important on the other guys. So, I mean, I don't know which one that's going to play out or how it's going to shake out on that end. But I feel good. I feel good about the Chiefs' defensive line, even without Minihue. They managed. They were a good sack team before he showed up. They were obviously better with him, Gold. But while they were waiting on a Minihue to show up, they were still pretty good, weren't they? At least on that end. I was looking up some stats for this game last night. And this was a great article from The Ringer because, you're always like, what are the things that I'm missing in this game? And this was a really great point. You and I both know the Chiefs don't get blown out. Patrick Mahomes has lost by 10 or more as many times as he's been in a Super Bowl. You and I did a radio hit last night, or a television hit on VSiN.
Yep.
And they had said, hey, what's the most likely outcome? Chiefs by 1-6, 49ers 1-6, Chiefs by 6 or more, or 49ers by 6 or more. I said dead last by that, by the way, is the 49ers by 6 or more. The Chiefs do not get blown out, only to find out upon doing research, neither do the 49ers. They are 21-5 with Brock Purdy as their starter. 3 of those losses were more than one possession, and that tells you all you need to know. So he's been a starter for almost 2 full years, not quite, but almost 2 full years in this league. He's only gotten blown out 3 times. Now, look, that's a much higher rate than Patrick Mahomes, but they, partially because of how good of a team they are, is we should be assuming, Gold, that you and I are stressed with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. This is going to be a close game, right?
Well, that's why the markets would tell you, and this would apply for most NFL games as well, the Niners to win by 6, or 1-6, I'm sorry, is plus 260. So over 2-1. The Chiefs to win by 1-6 is actually 3-1. So the markets are saying it's more likely the Niners, who are favorites in the game, so this wouldn't surprise
Makes
you,
sense.
are to win by 1-6 than the Chiefs are to win by 6. And we were asked to rank out the likely scenarios. And I think because we both believe the Chiefs are winning this game, the Chiefs winning by 1-6 to me is actually the most likely scenario. So at 3-1, I really don't hate it. The Niners to win by 1-6, yeah, probably the second most likely. You're correct about not getting blown out and the fact that it applies to the Niners as well. The only thing I will say that's to me a little bit different in the Super Bowl, while Mahomes doesn't get blown out, we know now it was an offensive line disaster against the Bucs. We all know he has been blown out in a Super Bowl, 31-9. I don't believe this Chiefs defense, basically allows you to be blown out. They're giving up 28 points or less every single game, and to get blown out, I mean, what are they going to lose 28-3? I just don't see it. So to me,
why would you mention that score in a Super Bowl?
Oh, well,
I guess that's sensitive to us.
It's
fine.
not. Yeah, we're not in Atlanta. Aaron Ladd will join us tomorrow. We'll bring that one up with our guy, Aaron Ladd. He's a Falcons fan. No, I guess what I'm trying to get at is the scenario of the Niners somehow winning in a blowout. The only thing you can come up with is it is truly one of those perfect storm games where all of a sudden the drops creep back in, and all of a sudden Juwan Taylor is false starting and holding, and they have a fumble from someone that hasn't fumbled in a very long time, and Isaiah Pacheco, and all of a sudden they just dig themselves a hole because this offense is still not capable, in my opinion, of coming back from the deficits we have seen. We know Mahomes came back from a deficit, 10 points against the Eagles, 10 points against the Niners the last time they played in the Super Bowl.
And their first Super Bowl run, remember, they were all double digits.
But those
days are gone.
Days of this offense scoring 35. We haven't seen it, really. We've seen 3 times, I think it is, over 30 points this season.
It's so weird. I still have such a hard time jumping exactly what you're talking about here. I still think the Chiefs are more likely to blow out the 49ers than the other way around, just so for what it's worth. Because of exactly what you said. No, you're right. We have not seen the offense score that number of points, but once probably this season. But, I know it's, secretly in there for a one-off occasionally. And the reason why is this is the exact same offense from last year, just put in Rice instead of Juju Smith-Schuster. Same tight end, same wide receivers, same offensive line, same offensive, same offensive coaching staff, still Andy Reid, still Mahomes, and an even better defense. The difference is, what we've talked about before is, I don't think the Chiefs go into a game being like, well, we better get 35 or 38, like last year's Super Bowl. I don't think their game plan is, how do we get to 30? I think their game plan is, how do we hold on to the ball and get to 27 points? Because we only allowed that once and never more than that all season. So let's just go ahead and get to 27 points, hold on to the ball for as long as we would like, and do it. That's another reason why you and I both said, I think this game's low scoring, because I think the Chiefs, and other teams love to do it to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have settled into that role, which is, let's just grind this baby out. You want me to take 11 minutes on it? You want to take 11 minutes on a drive? Be our guest. We'll take another 11 minutes, too. We'll just hope to hold you in the red zone.
Right. So there's a balance, too, that I agree with most of what you said. I think lower scoring game clearly favors Kansas City and what they want to do with what their defense has done in the second half, and because their offense this past week against Baltimore in the second half didn't score any points, and you don't want to get into a shootout when the star power on the 49ers that we've gone through with McCaffrey, Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, while they don't have Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback still, you're talking about so many different ways to create some mismatches throughout the game. I don't like that, but also when you mention a little bit of using time of possession, yeah, if the Chiefs are having sustained long drives, that's phenomenal. On the flip side, we saw in the Buffalo game, Kansas City still won that game, but they got doubled up in plays. They cannot. It can't be like that where the Chiefs win the toss, defer. Brock Purdy gets it at his own 25, has an opening drive touchdown that goes 9 minutes. The Chiefs the next drive go 3 and out, and all of a sudden then they go on a 7-minute drive. They get a field goal. The Chiefs are down 10-0, and it's already 8 minutes to go in the second quarter or something. You know what I mean? They can't be in that spot. You cannot get doubled up again against this 49ers, because I do think the Niners defense will probably play a little bit better than they have in the postseason with 2 weeks to prepare.
You're probably right, but it also, that the scary part about that is, remember how efficient the Chiefs were when they had the ball in that game? Every time they touched it,
margin is so slim.
Oh, I know. I don't want. No, I'm saying I don't want to risk that level of efficiency. I'm totally with you. I don't want to be like, well, every time you touch the ball, I hope you're really good with it.
Sure.
It also required Andy to be aggressive, which I hope we see in this game again, because I think it's the same thing as the Ravens that they said. Remember, Andy admitted this after the Ravens game, which was go into this game and put them on their heels for a minute. The 49ers have been favored in every game. They've won most of their games comfortably. They are very comfortable being the winner this season. Get them on, go for 1 4th and 2, put a touchdown on the board if you get the ball first, put a little heat on them, and then see if they can handle that once it is. We know if the game goes back and forth, the Chiefs can still be in there, but put them on their heels a little bit and see what happens.
Our big game coverage brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union, proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card, at ChiefsChecking.com. We continue here from Radio Row in Vegas. Danan Hughes, who of course will be on the call on the Chiefs radio network with Mitch Holthus, Dan Israel, and Josh Klingler coming up on Super Bowl Sunday. He's going to join us live here from Radio Row next on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold live from
Clear
Row in Las Vegas, presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend and save $3 off any large or family-sized pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. 610 Sports Radio.
The biggest winner in the big game could be you. Thanks to BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks is offering new customers a chance to score $158 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, instantly. Just download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code BETKC. Then place a $5 moneyline wager on the big game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. Don't miss your opportunity to cross the goal line on the money line as pro football's top teams clash for the championship. Can't be in Vegas for the big game? Then bring the big game excitement to you with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Outdoor America with Tommy Bench, Saturday mornings on 610 Sports Radio at 5 a.m. and the Odyssey app. This week, Tommy answers your questions. Outdoor America, presented by Wholesale Batteries, the right battery the first time.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Gear up for the big game and save big at the pump this Thursday at Hy-Vee. For 1 day only, earn a 40-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $60 purchase. Stock up on everything you need for the perfect watch party. Delicious wings, take and bake pizza, party trays, chips and dip, decorated cookies, and authentic Chiefs apparel. Fill your cart before you fill your tank and save 40 cents a gallon with every $60 purchase. This Thursday only at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hey, it's Kling. Chiefs heading to the big game yet again. And don't forget, Hy-Vee has everything you need for the perfect watch party. Authentic Chiefs apparel for the whole family. Exciting new styles and designs arrive daily. Everything you need for game day. Party trays, delicious wings. I love the Chiefs-themed baked goods. And when we win that game, I'm headed to Hy-Vee the day after to score my Fuel Saver discount, equal to the points the Chiefs score at the big game, based on the amount I spend. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's a new year, and Trailside RV Center on I-70 in Green Valley has the Jayco RV of your dreams. Trade-in values are high, and the 2024 financing rates say it's time to buy at Trailside RV. Go to trailsiderv.com and check out our prices now.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Your Kansas City Chiefs are headed back to the Super Bowl.
Takes the snap. Darts a pass near side. Caught by Kelsey. Wrapped to the ground at the 12.
Listen to 610 Sports Radio on the free Odyssey app for nonstop Chiefs coverage leading up to the big game.
Jackson throws deep middle for the end zone. Intercepted by Deion Bush.
The biggest names in Kansas City sports and the most Chiefs talk ahead of the Super Bowl. All on 610 Sports Radio. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. Download it today. AUDACY.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
With a smile at Andy's, top your day. With a smile at Andy's, top your day.
Hey, I'm going to bring you guys back and then give Danan Hughes a call because I only have
That's fine.
Like 45 seconds.
Just let us know at RDO when he's on. No worries.
All right, I got you.
Side caught by Kelsey. Wrapped to the ground at the 12.
Listen to 610 Sports Radio on the free Odyssey app for nonstop Chiefs coverage leading up to the big game.
Jackson throws deep middle for the end zone. Intercepted by Deion Bush.
The biggest names in Kansas City sports and the most Chiefs talk ahead of the Super Bowl. All on 610 Sports Radio. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. Download it today. AUDACY.
Cody and Gold in Las Vegas here on a Thursday edition of the show. We'll be joined by Danan Hughes in just a couple of minutes. He'll be on the call Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, I guess it will be in Kansas City. I keep saying afternoon, but it'll be Sunday evening in Kansas City for kickoff. It's weird. It's like a 3:30 kickoff.
You're talking to Kansas Cityans when we talk on this show, so you
I
might
know.
as well.
I might as well say Sunday evening for the game. But we're on Radio Row thanks to Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend. Save $3 off and eat large or family-sized pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Over on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, a couple people were asking as we were going through at some point today. We'll get to what occurred last night, a few things we were doing yesterday, and we also just put out a new social media video on our platforms. But someone said, are you guys all in the same room? Thank goodness we are not.
No.
We are not.
We've done that. We've done that for a Super Bowl. But when you start getting to 3, you know what? The company's like, you know what? You guys get your own rooms. Enjoy it. Gold and I are actually in the same room this weekend, though.
This weekend we are.
So,
it's a little bit different.
Friday
weekend.
and Saturday.
You know, this weekend, it turns out a lot of people want to be here. Same weekend.
I don't know if I should. I'm not annoyed, but like you've got to do a show over on BetQL
7
at
a.m.
7 a.m. Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. The only morning in which we do not need to get up early.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
Or I don't have to get up early.
Yeah.
I got to listen to you. Talk on it. I told you because we're not sure your co-host is like, well, maybe like he's got a red eye, so we're trying to figure out. Said, you know what? If I got to be up, tell him to pay me, and I'll just do the show with you. We'll just keep doing radio together.
We shall see. But no, we have our own room. And by the way, it just makes things way easier for all of us. You know, you're not dealing with well, you better get up at like 4 a.m. so you can get a shower in or whatever. Or you better no, it's easy. You don't have to worry about if somebody's snoring. If someone want to go to bed a few minutes earlier. None of that. No, we have our own rooms. We're all good. We said last week when we were joined by Danan, we needed Vegas advice, and here we are. Here we are. Danan Hughes joining us from Vegas, and our guests are brought to you by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. I know, Danan, we're gonna see you tonight out at Circa. You got your players only show from Stadium Swim, and then we've got a fun party with fans, and we got to show up in a big way because we're competing against 49ers fans tonight at Stadium Swim. All right, guys, back in the studio. We don't hear Danan. I don't know if it's a mix minus. We might need to get that adjusted. Can't hear the phone line. Just let us know if we get that corrected, and then we'll have Danan, and would love to talk to Danan about tonight. He's got his players only show, which will actually be on at let's see, that'll be 6 o'clock back in Kansas City, and then you and I will be on from 7 to 9 in Kansas City.
Well, the other thing I wanted to ask Danan about, we can do that here in just a second when we get connected with him, is what Travis Kelce was talking about today at the podium for media availability. So we know, right, because 49ers have been going wham-wham about the field. Kyle Shanahan bravely yesterday, Gold, said, well, it's not our preference, but we're fighting through
Try
it.
him now.
Oh, wow, good for you, man. But, Travis Kelce admitted that practice in pads on Wednesday got chippy.
All right, let's see if we can connect with Danan now. Danan, what's going on, man? All right, we're still hey,
for 2.
Live radio on the road. It's all good, guys. Unfortunately, having a little difficulty on the phone there as we are in Vegas, and we're.
I'm feeling good about
work.
the third time.
Yeah.
I'm just going
I don't know. I'm a little nervous on the third time. A little nervous. One of those where at some point you just say, you know what, it's not going to happen. You know, it's just not going to work.
I think we give it one more clean shot. It's possible. Quentin probably knows he has to pick up the phone, unlike normal, right, when we're there, and we might do that. And then the mixed minus thing, which is always nobody knows what that means, except for us.
Peel back the curtain a little bit, huh?
Well, so the way, you know what? Actually, this is fun.
Oh, gosh.
Here's a quick explanation of how mixed minus works.
Oh, no. We
while
don't need
wait
this.
for Danan
Nobody wants to
Hughes.
hear this. Nobody wants to hear this whatsoever.
No one wants this? No one wants this version of radio?
I can promise you nobody cares.
Fine. I guess I'll just keep that explanation to myself.
Go back to what you were saying, though, with Travis Kelce. We can discuss that and some of the comments he has made.
Third time's the charm.
Okay, here we go.
Last try.
This is it. Danan Hughes, the esteemed Danan Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. There he is. There he is.
What's
We got
going on, fellas?
Hey, we're
Viva
good.
Las Vegas, brothers.
Oh, we're loving it, man. We're loving it. How's it treating you? I know you've been out at Lake Las Vegas a little bit, too, for some of the media availabilities, but you guys got a couple of these big-time broadcasts on a Super Bowl Sunday under your belt already.
Yeah, man, it's been a blast so far. It's been a great week. Had an NFLPA event last night. Went to see Too Short perform at Resorts World last night.
Too Short. That must have been a fun show.
Yeah, actually, you know who the DJ was Marcus Peters. So how about
Really?
that? Marcus Peters and Marshawn Lynch were the DJs.
Nice.
And then Too Short. They're all from Oakland, obviously. And so that was a fun event. So, yeah, just bouncing around town, golf events and other stuff. So just enjoying everything as we wind down towards this game. It's going to be a fun game. This is going to be a fun day. This is my first time. You guys mentioned earlier about players only being on later this afternoon. This will be the first time I'll be doing players only on location. So that's going to be interesting. I'm trying to get a few NFL alumni guys to swing through, so it should be a blast.
Danan, I know that, like, for the players, they can't bet in a casino like playing blackjack until after the game is done, and then all bets are off. How about you? Do they let you? You're employed by the team.
Yeah, so we all got the same memo that we're not to be gambling, so I am going to stick with that. You know, I do follow the rules. I am coachable. I've been told that, so I'll go ahead and defer until after the game. How about that?
I was going to ask you if you're up or down. I figured I needed to ask you that first, you know? Danan, when you look...
well, I'm just chilling.
When you look at this game and this matchup, the thing we'd opened the show was talking about the real difference at quarterback, because you can blindly say, hey, here's the separation. If you go as high as you want on Brock Purdy, where does he rank amongst the pantheon of quarterbacks? 5 to 10, 10 to 15? What is his range going into this game?
Well, his range in regards to, like, other quarterbacks around the league, or in regards to going head-to-head against Patrick Mahomes? I feel like head-to-head, he's definitely a distant number 2. But as far as around the league, I mean, here's the thing. There's so much I saw earlier. Actually, I saw Cam Newton last night and reminded me about his comments about game changer versus game manager. And there's something to be said about a guy that can manage. It's like a coach. Like, a lot of times if you ask coaches, there's one type of coach that can coach up guys, the blue-collar guys. You make the Julian Edelmans and the Danny Amendolas and all those guys. You make them superstars because you're able to coach them up. But then there's another aspect where sometimes it's more difficult to coach superstars because they have such great ability. It's natural normally, and getting them to work and put in the work, even though they have such great natural ability, can be a challenge at times. So I say all that because when you're talking about a quarterback, there's a lot to be said about a quarterback that, amongst a bunch of stars, knows his role and can execute his role. So he doesn't have to be great. He just has to let the players around him who are already great, just let them be great. And so I give Brock Purdy some credit on that because not a lot of quarterbacks would be willing to do that. Could you imagine, and not to pick on guys, but could you imagine a Cam Newton being the quarterback of the 49ers, maybe a Lamar Jackson being the quarterback of the 49ers. They're better quarterbacks, but would they be better in that system based on what they would be called on to do with those weapons? And I'd say the answer is no. So from a quarterback perspective, we have the better quarterback, but I do give credit to Brock Purdy for handling that offense the way he does and allows it to flourish.
We're talking to Danan Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. Again, he'll have players only tonight, 6 o'clock on 610 Sports Radio at Stadium Swim. We hope to see everybody out there from 5 to 9 Vegas time at Stadium Swim. It's going to be a fun event. You can still RSVP. Free drink ticket if you're wearing Chiefs gear, and we're going to be competing with our sister station out in the Bay Area for the most fans. So hope to see everybody out there. We heard yesterday from Andy, Danan, that Eric Bieniemy came back last week prior to the AFC title game and was in some meetings, spoke to the team. Patrick Mahomes said he had goosebumps. I love that. I love the motivational angle in what EB can provide there. Does that stand out to you as something that is promising for them, this game on Sunday, even the carryover effect? And do you remember a coach maybe that had one of those really memorable pregame or at least game week type of conversations?
Yeah, you know what? It's having that ability and having that credibility is so great when you have a coach that can touch your soul, can touch you in a way that will make you want to run through a brick wall. And I was fortunate in college and in the pros where I had Hayden Fry in college and then Marty Schottenheimer, where the clips, the sound clips that you have from Marty are still echoing at Arrowhead Stadium if you go in the Hall of Honor because he was just such a great motivator. I do remember in college, and it wasn't necessarily like sometimes those guys, it's not about screaming and yelling. It's just about like recognizing that they are just unloading themselves. Like they are opening up themselves, making themselves vulnerable and touching you in a way that you feel like you're ready to do anything. And I remember in college we were playing Michigan. Wind up being the year we beat Michigan at Michigan. And Hayden Fry, he had this thing that he did every game throughout his career. Right before the game, we're rallying in the locker room. He'd turn out the lights. We'd do the prayer. He'd turn out the lights, and he'd tell us to close our eyes. And he said, visualize yourself making a play. Visualize that tackle, that catch, that touchdown. And then he said, visualize yourself in the locker room after the game. And all the handshaking and all the high fives and all the tears and all that. And then he'd turn on the lights and say, okay, now go do it. And, like, it gives me chills at this time because I'm putting my mind back in that time where we're facing Michigan in the Big House. We're tied with them for the Big Ten lead for an opportunity to go to the Rose Bowl. And it kind of stirs up all of that emotion in you. So when you think about EB and the passion that he brought to the sideline and the role that he had with the Chiefs organization and the success he had, and then he's able to kind of impart some of that, not only just the wisdom, but the passion and the energy, like you can't help but to like feel like you're ready to play the game now, and it's only Thursday.
Danan, I know that we're all biased, so you can tell me if you're just going to be biased with us or you view it different. I think it is a real dichotomy that the 49ers are spending this time talking about the firmness of the field, and then Travis Kelce is describing a practice on Wednesday in which we know they put on pads, and we're getting chippy with each other about how hard they were both trying on the offense and the defensive side of the ball in that practice. To me, that's kind of an indication of like the toughness of these teams a little bit, where I saw the Ravens for the first time all year get punched in the mouth and realized how bad it threw them off their game. I think there's a Chiefs could do that again in this game against the Niners.
Yeah, I think it definitely will be a taller task because the Niners have been punched around a little bit. So they know that feeling. It's different when you've been the bully all season long and then somebody comes in and punches you in the mouth and now you don't know how to act and you're jumping off sides and you're taking cheap shots at Trey Smith, spinning the ball, doing things uncharacteristic because you've never been punched before. But then to see the 49ers, I feel like not only were they punched in the mouth by us in Super Bowl 54, but they've experienced some of that this year when they had a little bit of a lull and weren't necessarily playing up to their capabilities. So I feel like that initial punch may not have the lasting effect as it did against the Ravens. Like we could tell that they were just totally out of sorts for a large part of that game, especially after Zay Flowers fumbled that ball in the end zone. But having said that, like this Niners team, they've been down this road. There are several guys on this roster. I'm looking at the two deep on this roster, and I'm like, okay, he was there in 54. And if you talk about a hangover effect, like what better way what better position would you want to be in if you're the Niners than to have an opportunity for retribution against a team that basically snatched it from you, that bullied you in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left and took your dream away just 4 years ago. And now you're in a position where you have opportunity for retribution, and a lot of guys tasted that agony of defeat, and they're having an opportunity on this Sunday to kind of get that retribution.
Danan, because of that, can you sometimes in a game, because you know this, like there's in every sport, in every league, whether you're at Iowa or whatever, there's sometimes where you're like, they just got us. Is it hard sometimes, like let's say it's a third quarter and all of a sudden you're down 10, to not feel snake bitten against a team where it's hard to get it out of your head that why do they always have our number? Because I feel like the Bills feel that way against the Chiefs. Could the 49ers feel that way at some point this game if they're behind?
It's possible. I think you can make an argument that that's how it's been up until this last trip to the Mile High City against the Denver Broncos. When you win that many games against them, and several of them were close, you have to believe that at some point they just stopped believing in themselves and said, oh, here we go again. Number 10, number 11, number 12, number 13, straight wins, and they just couldn't get out of their way. I feel like the Niners – just because, we beat them in the regular season. We beat them in the Super Bowl. I believe we beat them in the preseason a few years ago, if I remember that correctly. So I feel like they've been down this road before. I just don't think that they're made up the same way. I feel like they are more mentally tough than others that we've played, or maybe other teams that have been in that position. And they're going to fight the full 60 minutes. We know that. You don't get to this point. You don't have this opportunity against the reigning Super Bowl champs, the reigning Super Bowl and league MVP, to be able just to wash yourself away and feel like, this is just not our day again. No, I don't. I think they're going to fight the full 60 minutes.
I know you got to save your official game prediction for the broadcast on the Chiefs Radio Network and 106.5 The Wolf on Sunday, but our game predictions are brought to you by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. How do you see the game script at least going for this one? Lower scoring game. How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think it's going to – I felt like the number 30 and 24 seem to be what's been in my head all week. So I'm going to say good guys 30, the bad guys, the Niners 24. So I don't know what the over-under is.
That'd be the over.
That'd be the over.
Technically a high-scoring game. Given the points that they gave up against the Lions, I feel like that's probably within our wheelhouse, and hopefully our defense can hold them down, hold Christian McCaffrey down, and not allow any late-game heroics from Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel.
I'm guessing based on that, you got Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP too?
Yep.
That
so.
Seems like a pretty safe bet.
It's almost tough. It's like it's hard for the quarterback not to win it. It's almost impossible for the quarterback not to win it unless you get like a pick six or a scoop and scores or something like that. Like the quarterback is always going to be the favorite to win it.
All right, Danan, we'll see you tonight out at Stadium Swim, our big party we got going on here. For those of you in Las Vegas, players only starts at 6 o'clock. We'll be on from 7 to 9 after that, and we're looking forward to it, Danan. We'll see you later on.
All right, fellas, see you then.
There you go. Former Chiefs wide receiver Danan Hughes joining us here on Cody and Gold, and our guests are brought to you by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. I will say, as we're talking to Danan, 2 different times, not only were people, they were checking out the sauces, yes, but we've got some T-shirts that say Taylor Swift loves Kansas City.
Very popular.
We've worn them before on the show, and someone just came by just to take a photo of it. Someone else earlier asked to grab a couple. Yeah, it's got a few smirks as people walk by.
It's a great-looking shirt.
Yeah.
Plus, massive game day storyline, especially if you're not in Kansas City
or
in San Francisco. If you're just out here on Radio Row, I guarantee you that's a topic of conversation.
It's happening right now. See, people stop by and take a look at his shirt.
This is how we bring people to the table.
This is how
look
it works
at our
overall.
Cool shirts.
Thinking of people I've seen so far today, I don't know if he's around at this. The agent of Tommy DeVito, remember?
Yeah,
he was here.
Oh, really? That guy?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
He's welcome on this show.
I completely forgot his name,
though.
Oh. Stiletto?
Stiletto? That sounds right.
Tommy DeVito and something Stiletto with the agent.
Anthony or something?
Wow.
Come on, hold on.
I mean, maybe it is
Sean
Stellato or Stiletto.
Stellato?
Anyway, yeah, he was wearing.
Was he
oh,
dressed
yes. Oh,
the
yes.
same way as before?
Wow, not. Yeah, I mean, in a different style.
Like
but
fedora,
same style, I
suit,
should say. Different suit, same style.
Pinstripes.
Oh, yeah, the Tommy DeVito. That was a fun, like, Jeremy Lin, 5 minutes of fame.
Dude, what a
thing.
great moment of fun. And by the way, earn it. Like, go to Jersey, put your name on something, and earn it a little bit. Because it was great. Their season was lost, and for a brief moment, it was fun again. Because this very New York guy, this very Jersey guy shows up and is all of a sudden quarterbacking the New York Giants out of nowhere and then doing well and winning football games. Then it was one of the best stories of the regular season. Not that it meant anything for how this season was going to go. It was just fun. Like you said, it was Lynn's sanity. Although, I'll give Jeremy Lin a little bit of credit. He did stick around the league a little while after that.
Absolutely.
He was not that player anymore, but he stuck around the league a little bit.
Tommy DeVito might have earned himself, a backup gig for a long time in this league.
Tommy DeVito's the backup to Mahomes?
I mean, I love the ancillary stuff that would come from it.
I think Andy likes the former starters. He likes the guys who have started NFL football games, which I don't blame him.
I mean, that'll get us back to something we discussed, which is, fortunately, to this point, unlike the prior two Super Bowl runs, Mahomes has is healthy. He's healthy going, and so yes, he likes the starting quarterback or former starting quarterback to back up, and we're going to talk to a backup quarterback later on today. Actually, Chase Daniel going to join us here on Radio Row. Our next guest coming up around that'll be 11:30. Chris Fowler, 11:30.
Or 11:15. We got Jeff Darlington.
I'm getting my time zones on. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Jeff Darlington coming up at 11:15, and then Chris Fowler at 11:45 here from Vegas. As we're still just getting started here on a Thursday. Coming up next, we will get to our number 2. And one key for Steve Spagnuolo in this defense, and then we'll be joined by national NFL reporter Jeff Darlington here on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
Clear.
Radio Row in Las Vegas, presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend and save $3 off any large or family-sized pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. 610 Sports Radio. Big game coverage is brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card, at chiefschecking.com.
At Shane Company, we believe we're all made to shine. This Valentine's Day, celebrate the love of your life, your best friend, or your best self with unique fine jewelry from Shane Company. We're passionate about sourcing the most beautiful and vibrant gemstones from around the world so everyone can shine bright. We take the time to ensure each piece of jewelry is expertly crafted so it can be treasured forever. Visit Shane Company and discover Valentine's Day gifts for everyone, your new crush or your soulmate. Let them know how much you care with fine jewelry designed by us, guaranteed for life, for free. Radiant red rubies, pink sapphires, diamond hearts, gorgeous jewelry with all the colors and symbols of love. This Valentine's Day, give a necklace with a gemstone as special as your love, a gold ring engraved with a date you'll never forget, earrings that make their eyes sparkle. Give a gift that was made to shine. Shane Company. Fine jewelry since 1929.
We'll buy your car if it's original base MSRP when you upgrade to a new or used car at Volkswagen Lease Summit. Only deducting for mileage, manufacturer incentives, and any damage. Your car is worth thousands more than you think. Cash in today. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
2012 and newer. See dealer for details.
There's going to be some long days and some long nights as we're in Las Vegas covering the Chiefs for the big game, and nobody's supposed to feel bad for us by any means. But, if you're out late sometimes the next morning, you were trying to put in your contacts, your eyes just don't cooperate. That used to be a problem for me, but it is not anymore thanks to Dury Vision. Dury Vision is the best in Kansas City when it comes to LASIK vision procedures because, well, they're the most experienced as well with over 65,000 vision correction procedures performed. and it's why I trusted DuraVision with my eyes. So that now I don't use contacts. I don't use glasses, and it means waking up in the morning, seeing the way I need to see, and not having to have any assistance with that. It makes my travel plans a lot easier, not forgetting contacts or contact solution. You can also take advantage of their friends and family event going on right now at DuraVision, where you could save up to $1,000 on LASIK, but this is for a limited time only. So you want to go to DuraVision.com and book that free consultation, or give them a call at 913-491-3330 and tell them Gold from 610 sent you.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. And if you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is about being with your friends. It's about getting the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite snacks, and placing some super bets. That's what I love most, taking the point spread, the over-under, the coin toss, the player props. It's a lot of fun. It's the last football game until the summer. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. New customers can join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT. Use my promo code to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/CDOT. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued. A non-withdrawable bonus spec that expires 7 days after receipt. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Make Gates Barbecue your go-to for the big game watch party. Whether you're the host or a guest, the big game watch party won't be complete without Gates Barbecue sauce and seasonings. Gates seasonings go great on popcorn as a fun topping for dips, or sprinkle on chips for that extra flavor pop. Nothing says the big game like a Gates party tray. Stop by any of their 5 locations and pick up one. You'll be the hit of the party. Spice up your big game watch party with Gates Barbecue. Gates Barbecue, a Kansas City tradition.
Wholesale batteries for all your battery needs. Motorcycle, ATVs, lawn and garden tractors, power sport, boats, jet skis, and RVs. Kansas City, visit Wholesale Batteries now for all your battery needs. Wholesale Batteries, the right battery the first time.
Game day is almost here, Kansas City. Come to Dick's Sporting Goods to get your new Chiefs gear and make sure you're ready for the big game. Shop our huge selection of Chiefs tees, hats, and hoodies for the whole family. If they win, come back to select Dick's Sporting Goods stores right after the game to be the first to get the same hats and tees the team will wear in the locker room. Shop in store, shop online at Dicks.com, or get curbside pickup immediately after the game. Every championship season starts at Dick's.
Nachos! Yeah, your nachos!
Hey, I'll take some.
Great. And some Frank's Red Hot.
Oh, nah, I'm good.
Oh, you're just gonna eat these dry, plain, boring nachos with no Franks? What, seriously? Frank it up. Frank it up. Come on, lady. Frank it up. Frank it up. Frank it up. Yeah! Yeah, this guy finally gets it. Hey, look, we're on the Jumbotron.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Cody and Gold, live in Las Vegas from Radio Row. All week long on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Back here in Las Vegas, Cody and Gold, presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this week. Save $3 off any large or family-sized pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Here in about 10 to 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Jeff Darlington, national NFL reporter for ESPN. He has been basically camped out in Lake Las Vegas. He has been following the Chiefs the entire week. We'll get a little insight from him on that. I don't know if he has any insight on the coyote or anything like that. That report that went viral of a coyote attacking an NFL player, but nobody seems to know. Yeah, nobody seems to know what the heck's been going on when it comes to that whole story. But we'll find out if Jeff Darlington knows anything like that, and of course get his perspective on what he has seen from the team and their approach out in Lake Las Vegas. Plus the trash of the day, about 20 minutes away.
I think that the coyote story is easily the most fun one, and the one I wish was the most true, but probably not also true this year. Spags is obviously meeting the media again today. They have to talk so much more during these weeks, and then they're free and clear. Tonight they can rest their head knowing that they don't have to keep talking and they can just focus on the game for Sunday starting after tonight. But I was going through the matchup, and again, as we get closer to this game, Gold, I think it's good to start diagnosing the areas in which you worry about what the Chiefs are doing. And there's one thing Spags has done in particular, and their defense has done in particular this postseason, that is once again very important against the 49ers. They have to limit the deep ball against them in this Super Bowl. Look, I think it's probably worth bringing back up again. I think you'd think of the 49ers, you're like, we're probably underselling how dominant of an offense they were. Like we've mentioned a stat on this show, DVOA, before. Again, just an efficiency metric. You don't need to know the nuts and bolts. It just is a number that tells you how efficient you were offensively. The Chiefs in 2018 were one of the most efficient DVOA offenses of all time. This one is not that far from there. Really what the difference is, the 49ers were 10 or 15% more efficient on offense than second place. Matter of fact, the gap between the 49ers and the second-best offense in the league, the Miami Dolphins, which we thought of as being a very good offense, is the same difference between Miami and the Chiefs at 8. So that's how big of a gap. So nearly double the efficiency of what the Chiefs had done essentially during that time. What the Chiefs did against the Ravens, what the Chiefs did against the Bills, what the Chiefs have done a better job than any defense in the NFL this year is limiting the big plays, which has made San Francisco great. They're going to have to find a way to do that again.
And that's where Christian McCaffrey comes in. Like that's where, like, we can bring up Brandon Ayuk and the success he's had, but who concerns you from the big play perspective? It's Christian McCaffrey because of his strength. Right?
Debo sometimes too, I'll be honest.
Debo because of his speed and strength, but Christian McCaffrey in particular because he can take a dump off and you can feel like you got him matched up pretty well, and he can turn that 5-yard catch into 30-plus yards. And Christian McCaffrey is the most explosive player on the football field. He's the best running back. I think other than Mahomes, he's the second best player as far as I'm concerned on the field. I know we can get into positional value and where does Kelsey and all that. But Christian McCaffrey is a really, really special player.
McCaffrey's the one guy you got to throw out the positional value stuff.
Yeah.
You and I are the same. Like I don't think running backs matter all that much in the NFL. I think they're relatively interchangeable across the board. McCaffrey is the clear exception to that. I mean, He's so obviously the exception to that. Look at what he's doing in San Francisco. It's not just the talent he has. It is the perfect fit he is inside of their offense.
The big plays, I think, for San Francisco, if they happen, are going to come after the catch. Right? I don't imagine in my mind Brock Purdy stepping back, throwing 50-yard passes down the field. To me, it's going to be a 15-yard pass that gets turned into a big play.
Because of a missed tackle or because of a blown assignment.
And the Chiefs, to their credit, as you said, they have really limited not only the deep shots down the field, but the explosive plays. I understand Zay Flowers got them for one, but if that was Lamar Jackson being Lamar Jackson and being special and avoiding a sack. Like Brock Purdy, the good news here, even though he showed he can run a little bit, if Leo Chenal again has an opportunity or Karlaftis has an opportunity like they had 2 times against Lamar and one on that play,
on his back,
Brock Purdy will be sacked in this game if in that same scenario.
Yeah, I would think so. Most of Brock Purdy's success in the ground has been those like gap runs where he's kind of going untouched for 8 to 10. That's another thing, by the way, I'll kind of let him have. I know that they're like, well, do you spy? I asked Steve Spagnuolo about this actually on opening night. I said, is it harder to plan for the guys who aren't supposed to run running? He said, yeah, it is. Because like in Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen's case, you might spy the whole game because the man just might run, like on purpose, as by design. And if not, at the very least, it's a normal part of their everyday play, so you have to anticipate it. It's harder with Brock Purdy because it's never designed. It is a broken play in which the coverage is good, things open up, and he's got a little bit of space. Because of their weapons, I think you kind of have to concede that without spying, because the risk of putting players around there to stop that one thing from Brock Purdy, which he's only shown here recently, is that if you for 1 minute put one less defender on the field, what the hell happens if Debo gets the ball or Ayuk or McCaffrey or anyone else in open space? And I don't want to risk that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to spy. That's the beautiful thing. You don't have to commit Willie Gay Jr. to that aspect whatsoever. And I told you, I think 20 minutes ago, so we were discussing, I think if there's anywhere that you do have to pay more attention is kind of keeping your integrity a little bit if you're Karlaftis or if Felix is in the game on the edge, and that is off of bootlegs. Like not maybe to the full extent. We saw Jake Browning do this against Kansas City, Jake Browning of Cincinnati, early in the game. Maybe the Chiefs weren't expecting it. And you saw Browning have a lot of success on bootlegs and got a ton of runs. I could see Kyle Shanahan early in the game trying to do something similar to make the Chiefs really start to actually key in on it. And I wonder if that's part of the formula for Kyle Shanahan early.
They've got better offensive weapons, so obviously it'll probably work better in the long haul. That happened like 4 straight weeks against the Chiefs. And then those quarterbacks did nothing in the second half.
True.
In retrospect, it wasn't so much that it was like design in those games. It might be in this one. In those games, it wasn't by design. It was out of necessity. Aiden O'Connell, Jake Browning goes like this run of those guys who were having all the success on the ground. They didn't do anything after. Like they weren't like good in that game. It turns out that was the only offense that was available to them. Obviously, I think the San Francisco 49ers are different. Again, I probably and some other people have probably undersold just how good of an offense they've been. But at the same time, the Chiefs' defense has been undersold about how good of a defense they are. So this same thing applies, and I don't think that that's just like one way or the other based on where this is. Like, they're both underrated. 49ers offense is better than you realize. Chiefs' defense is better than you realize. So what's that, a wash? I'm not going to panic. It's just it's the same thing. Limiting the deep pass, limiting the deep pass. You'll still get burned. I've conceded. The 49ers can have one of their drives go 14 play, 12 minutes, and I'll probably live my life. Not every drive, but they can have a drive like that, chewing up the clock like we said before. I won a 17-14 game. You and I have been to some higher-scoring Super Bowls. Last year's was nuts.
People love points. We know that, and when people are betting, if you're trying to do all the over on props and things like that, a higher-scoring game puts you in a position for that. I was trying to see what the longest touchdown drive, or longest play, I should say, potentially could be, just to see. I don't know if I can get it pulled up in time, but to our question of asking, like, what's the likelihood of there's bets where you can make, hey, will one of the plays be over 60 yards or anything like that? I don't know if I can pull it up quick enough, but I would be curious to see, team to score the longest touchdown. Here you go. Team to score the longest touchdown. Kansas City plus 116, the Niners minus 142. So they're saying it's more likely the Niners have the longest touchdown of the game. And I mean, look,
I don't want to
look at the playmakers that
how
they
dare
have.
they?
Yeah, look at the playmakers that they have.
No, they're correct. The Chiefs have not been a big play offense in 2 seasons.
No. Now, the closest they came, and I don't even know if it would have been the Rashee Rice touchdown that got called back for the holding call. Quick wide receiver screen, and there was just a huge bunch of, bit of space for him.
Well, their biggest big play potential is either Justin Watson 30 yards down the field, MVS 30 yards down the field, or that. Rashee Rice after the catch. Shorter. He's there, it's not the same player, but my guess is that if Rashee Rice played for Shanahan, he would be used like Debo, where so much of it is like big body, moves well in space, and once he's going, he's going. They don't use him as the burner or whatever thing like that. I think they'd use him more in that facility or in that role. That's what kind of makes it interesting.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 10 minutes or so, but let's get Jeff Darlington on with us here. Jeff Darlington, national ESPN reporter. Our guests are brought to you by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. Jeff has been covering the Chiefs the entire week, camped out, as I said, in Lake Las Vegas. And how does the vibe in Vegas compare so far versus where you were at in Phoenix a year ago or any of these other Super Bowls?
I think it's tough to say this early in the week. It always changes, as you guys know, being here since Sunday. Like you'll see the wave come in, probably starting today.
I turn you guys' mics off.
Sort of when the energy starts to build tomorrow. By the weekend, we're going to be like, we were here first. You start to. It's like when you find a song that you like and everybody else likes it later. The full wave comes in and the takeover will happen. But right now, I mean, the team is 40 minutes away. If you're at home wondering if Chris Jones is rolling down the strip, like it's not happening. It feels very right now to me. Very business trip like.
I think if you're the Chiefs, you got to just take Mahomes at his word. He said, "Look,
I love that."
He's like, "I'll take you all back here," and he's got the money for it. So just take him at his word, win the Super Bowl, and let Mahomes pay for the next Vegas trip.
He will 100% do that, and I think that's very wise. I'm telling you, it's 40 minutes away. I've been out there. It is like a kind of retreat type of resort at Lake Las Vegas. If I was out there. I mean, I love the nightlife. I would not feel incentivized to come all the way to the Strip, so I think that's a good thing.
How much of your job this week, as you're locked in on the Chiefs, Jeff, Taylor Swift, how much are people asking you about Taylor Swift? We get asked about it every single day now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there has been a little bit of a shift where I'm not saying it's accepted. The Brads and the Chads and the Dads are still all full force, and anytime I even mention it, anything. But I think at least from a Kansas City standpoint, it has felt more comfortable and accepted, and dare I say she feels like part of the family. In all honesty, when I'm at games, her arrival is far less of a spectacle than it has been. And even the questions. What I appreciate about the Chiefs, they haven't been like, stop asking me about that. They have embraced every question in terms of just saying, like, she's great, she's been awesome. And I think that is important. If you push it away, something with that magnitude, you're trying to stop a tidal wave. It's not going to happen. And instead, they've embraced it. And at some point, and Travis, to his credit, has had to sit in front of the media and answer nonstop questions. And he's never said, enough about that, guys. We're just going to focus on the game. That, to me, is an important approach. And I think accepting it is probably a very important component to this.
What's funny is that because of like the people you talked about, they're like the ones who want to be upset for no reason, in our opinion.
Yeah.
That's only added to like the quote Patrick Mahomes gave you this week about like, well, I'll be the villain if you need me to be.
For sure.
That all feels like it's a part of it. Like they all seem fine with it. Like, that's fine. If you want us to be the bad guys, we'll be the bad guys. They're not a natural bad guy. That's what's funny about it.
They're not a natural bad guy.
They're likable. Like Tom Brady, I'll be honest, Tom Brady was a natural bad guy.
Bill Belichick is the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah, I compared him. It's like it was Darth Vader. Like you are classic villains. This is more of the like, oh wait, no, you're the bad guy.
Right.
You were supposed to be along with us the whole time.
100% agree with that. I do think it is unnatural. So last week, the quote you're referencing about Patrick saying, I'll be the villain that they need, I'd asked him, do you sense it? I mean, I obviously sense it. You guys sense it.
Yeah.
He's got to feel it too. And he said yes, very clearly. And I think and he said, I've never been that my whole life. You guys know being around him. Yeah. He is a wildly likable human. And come at me if you want to tell me, well, look at him at the end of the Bills game. Oh, like the people who were saying that he was whining too much don't whine themselves every time a bad call happens. Like the hypocrisy with that is ridiculous. I think it is an unnatural bad guy, to your point. But as he even said, this part of what he said did not get as much publicity as I thought. He said, I want to be more fun and more charismatic than the Patriots did it.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was
so
a
he's openly
decent
admitting
shot.
they weren't fun at all.
They were not fun, and he's right. So I don't think it's a natural fit, a natural bad guy fit. People will come back around on him at some point, but if it's because of the family situation, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, I know this is taboo and sensitive, but if you're going to judge somebody off of missteps of their family, good luck looking in the mirror.
I'll be honest, I don't want that. Like, I wouldn't want that in my life. Very few people
who
would.
Does? And by the way, I think that is more reason to love the guy, that he is doing all of this with incredible grace and class, despite anything that he has to deal with. So, to me, call him a bad guy if you want. He's a winner.
Talking to Jeff Darlington of ESPN, national NFL reporter. bigger picture for what this week could mean and a win on Sunday could mean for the Chiefs. We all know the Brady and Mahomes comparisons, and he would be pacing ahead of Brady in numerous areas. Where do you come out on the conversation that has already been happening?
I mean, it becomes a dynasty if they win, in my opinion. You're doing. I would say that the Patriots after the 2004 Super Bowl were a dynasty, and it's the same arc. 2 in a row, back to back, with another one piled on before. It's scary, the comparisons, really, when you look at Patrick compared to Tom in the first 6-7 seasons. The comparisons are glaring, deservedly so. Again, a different style. Andy Reid's offense is totally different than what the Patriots would do. Here's what I'll say. The fact that they're doing it by changing their identity each year is what, to me, makes them a true dynasty. It's not like they're just doing it the same way. And Patrick, I've talked to him about that, and we've talked about it the past couple of years. Tom learned early on to use the regular season to create your identity for the postseason. And it doesn't have to be the same every year. And you can suck in the middle of the year and figure it out by the end. The Chiefs did that this year. And Tom's teams did that. And when you can do that, to me, that's when you become the scariest dynasty, because you are evolving. And teams are not going to be able to catch up.
Yeah, that's something that we've talked about. If this season's struggles and frustrations offensively can happen and they still end up in a Super Bowl, it's like, how are we supposed to sit here next year in November if they're struggling, Jeff, and be like, oh, my goodness, this team's not good enough to get there again?
The danger that I hope – I don't think Brett Veach would fall into this. My only wonder is, halfway through the season, we're all saying, what wide receiver are they getting next year? Is it going to be Devontae Adams or Mike Evans? Right? And – I remember thinking that last year, winning without Tyreek Hill was the curse of this year, because they thought that they could do it without an alpha receiver. And here they are
be able
again.
to do it without an
I
alpha
know.
receiver.
And I remember saying, see, they screwed up, because last year made them realize they could do it, and they can't. But they did it again. I still think that they need that. I don't think you can keep – that, to me, is not sustainable. I know that's probably weird.
They're pushing the limit.
No,
they're pushing the limit.
I think the reason why it's not sustainable is next year the defense won't be the best in the league, and that's fine. That's the balance that you said of be a little different every year. You can go back to receiver. I think it's an easy sentence. I think one thing we fell into the trap of against the Ravens is, and I know, that's a better roster overall.
Right.
When you look at these two teams, is there a real talent difference between the 49ers and the Chiefs? The 49ers have more weapons on offense, but the difference between Mahomes and Purdy, or offensive lines, or defensive, when it all shakes out, what are they 2% better as a roster?
That's fair. It does. I fall into the trap of looking at all the shiny objects on the 49ers. I mean, the weapons they have are ridiculous. I mean, let's put it this way. Put Patrick Mahomes on the 49ers.
That might be, yeah. I mean, look, offensively, that'd be a pretty impressive squad.
But you're right. But defensively, too. What is this? There's been very few
3 minutes
where it's 2 top 5 units on both sides of the ball. They're a really good team. I think the experience of the Chiefs in this moment is massive, but to that point, I think that the evolution of the Chiefs, like you said, they're a defensive team this year. I still and Veach said this too. This offseason, the wide receivers weren't available. It wasn't a great free agent crop. If next year Mike Evans, if they can get him, go get him. Don't fall into the trap that the Packers got into with Aaron Rodgers, where you just lean so heavily on the quarterback. Give some help to Patrick, even though he clearly can carry you otherwise.
All right, before we get your game predictions, it's weird that once again it's Super Bowl weekend, we're talking about field conditions and everything like that. Last year in Phoenix, we all know that was a mess.
Right.
This year, from what you're hearing, I'm not even talking about the practice field stuff this week with the 49ers, and while the Chiefs are outdoors practicing in pads, they're complaining about firmness of turf. But on Sunday, as far as you know, were there changes made, or are we going to be talking on Sunday about this field?
I don't think so.
2 minutes.
Look, I subscribe to the theory that everybody's got to play on the same field, figure it out.
Right.
Same with the refs. People saying that the refs are on the Chiefs' side.
That's right. Yeah.
I never understand the field or the referee complaints. My son is 8 years old, and he's already going down the rabbit hole. The refs screwed us.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, you do not.
You got to nip it in the bud early.
I do. And I'm all over him about it. If this was all scripted, you don't think that there would be a ref somewhere who would have come out and said, by the way, it's all scripted? It hasn't happened. But the field, they roll it in, right? They roll it in and out. It's like Arizona where the field is outside and then they put it inside. So Looks good to me.
Yeah. I don't want to get. Look, that last one was mildewy. Like when we were there after the game, like, what is this? Yeah, I kind of get. But I mean, when both teams play on it, I don't feel like you get to.
Look, man,
1 minute.
Grow some grass, some nice Bermuda grass, like a soccer field in my house. It's hard, man.
I'm getting ready to just throw clover down. I'm done with it. I don't want nice grass. It's not worth it.
All right, let's get your prediction from Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. Jeff, just how do you see this one playing out? Lower scoring game, higher scoring than we think?
Probably lower. I always find that the jitters of the Super Bowl play a factor. The Chiefs have to do what they've done better than anybody and score early in the game, and take the experience has to come on their sides early. The experience,
30 seconds.
The overriding factor of why I feel like the Chiefs have the edge. I tell everybody all the time, when I hear a player, and the 49ers have not done this week, but when they say it's just another game, it's not just another game. And when you get there and the speakers are different and the national anthem hits different, you realize
10 seconds.
Just another game. And if you prepare yourself as such, you'll be more prepared. And I think that's
3, 2, 1.
At the time.
Thanks, guys.
Jeff Darlington, national reporter for ESPN. He's been camped out, keeping an eye on the Chiefs, and a text line giving some Bermuda grass advice after he's talking about he's been trying to grow some. He said, you got to have a lot of heat, and sun. And I do think, and the Chiefs were asked again today about the playing conditions, and they think last year was kind of
an anomaly, I think is what Andy called it, yeah.
Probably. I hope so. I hope that's exactly the case, as a matter of fact.
I do, too. I'm going to be honest. We're back. These shirts drawing some good attention for the table.
People, the Taylor Swift shirts. Everybody walks by, smirks. It gets, it's a way to get some people to maybe stop by the table. That, let's be honest, maybe weren't going to stop by the table before. We'll see. I'm not going to tell you who, but we might have somebody special stopping by the table just for like 2 minutes or so here as he's wrapping up another interview. So we shall see. By the way, our guests are presented by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs.
They're welcome to that as well. No, we got sauce. We've got shirts. We should be a fun table to come by. And then Club 610 tomorrow. I still got to figure out. So
it's got to be the NFL won't say anything, I think, as long as it's an NFL branded, or what's their official beer or something.
Yeah, so I'm curious how it's going to go. So today I brought in a bunch of sauce into a bag, and she said, "Hey, in that bag, is that just a bunch of water?" And I said, "Oh, it's actually." I said, "It's actually hot sauce," and I showed her. And she said, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Huh? So you're checking for liquids in a way?" And you're like, "That's a lot of them." Like, trying to decide the shape. I think of cans. They're never going to check every can in there. Put it in the bottom of the bag like anything else. Bring it down there, and nobody's going to say anything, right? Right? I think at that point, then I would be clear. I think I can get it through security. I just got to figure out how to make it plausible so that they don't judge me based on that. I think I'll be okay. I'm going to at least give it a shot.
We'll have Chris Fowler joining us in about 20 minutes or so. He'll be part of the international call for the Super Bowl. But joining us here in front of us at our table, our guests are presented by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs, is Rick Harrison, of course, of Pawn Stars, kind enough to stop by for a couple of minutes. We saw you keeping an eye on the Taylor Swift shirt. So we got to talk to Rick Harrison. Thanks for joining us. Absolutely. So what's this league like for you? A lot of people obviously stopping by the store, I'm sure, want to take a little tour.
Oh, no, it's absolute insanity. I mean, on a normal week in Vegas, I get like 2,000 people a day at the pawn shop. It's been insanity. But it's Vegas. We always have some kind of insanity going on.
Our show tries to do a lot of different crazy things. You know, we bought like an Amazon pallet once and tried to make some money for the show. You got any advice for us here? We're trying to sell some things on the side here in addition to our show when we're in Kansas City.
You know what? Great thing my dad once told me, find out what you're not good at in this world and don't do that.
Okay, but that might be sales. Should I have never purchased this thing? I don't think sales is my thing. I'd rather just talk on the radio. Seems easy. Yeah. So can I guess just wholesale it? Now I just throw it away, give up, take a loss?
Yeah, I mean, like anything Taylor Swift is going to sell right now. I mean, like everyone keeps on asking me, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? I'm just like, Taylor Swift already has. I mean, how much did she make off merchandising of this?
Oh, my goodness. I heard you have God bless her. I'm sure you guys have some Taylor Swift stuff in the store.
Oh, yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah.
Did you work on curating that before? It feels like you borderline like, all right, how much Taylor Swift stuff can I get in the store before they come to town?
I mean, I have a big store. They get thousands of people a day. We were like, one guy who does like a lot of the merchandise, like, we got to get Taylor Swift stuff. But like, yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah.
At least figure out one way or another, right?
Because making money is like my third or fourth favorite thing in the world.
Okay, so we're in Vegas for a couple more days. We've only been here half the time. If we were only going to go one spot out tonight, where are we going?
Oh, dude, there's 1,000,001 places to go in this town. I can't even tell you. Pick a spot, dude. You'll have a good
Vegas.
time.
It doesn't matter?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm trying to think of one spot. You're like, there's 58. You're fine.
You can go to my bar.
Okay. Look, you got a drink. You give me one drink, I'll show up. One drink, and then the rest is covered.
Actually, during the Super Bowl, everyone's asking me, are you going to the Super Bowl? I know, no, bartending in my bar.
Fantastic.
It's right next to the pawn shop.
Okay.
I own the whole block there. So
perfect.
Yeah, I got my bar, my restaurant. I'm the world's worst bartender, by the way. Okay, I only know how to make drinks where the name of the drink is the ingredients of the drink.
As in, like, rum and Coke?
Yeah.
Vodka and tonic?
Yeah, that's it.
Simple enough. Easy enough.
If you want anything else, you go ask one of the real bartenders.
There you go. That'll work.
Last before I let you go, I know you got to run. Sunday, do you think the Chiefs win this thing? The 49ers? Who are you kind of got?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
As long as I can make money off it.
Are you going to put some money on the game at least?
Oh, no.
He like you said, he likes his money.
He likes his money.
Okay, you see all these big, giant buildings up and down the strip? They weren't built on winners.
Oh.
Turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are the guys, like those giant sports books. I think they got it figured out.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Rick, we really appreciate it. Nice to meet you. Thanks for stopping by. There
Thanks
you
for
go.
having me,
Rick
guys.
Harrison of Pawn Stars here from Radio Row in Las Vegas. Our guest presented by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, you never know who's just going to stop by. That's what happened.
The Taylor Swift shirts.
That was the key.
Drew him in.
That was the key.
And then we got to ask him, a couple of things real quick about whether or not he just said, if you're not good at something, stop doing it.
Well, Cody, you have not sold all. This was my
No,
big
I've only
concern
sold some of it.
with the Amazon pallet. We were going to put all this money into it and not sell. And he's like, maybe you're just not good at selling things. Turns out he's figured out a nice way to make plenty of money at his. I have been to his pawn shop here, of course, from Pawn Stars, and they have like thousands of people that walk in because everybody wants to see the store from the show. Of
course.
And we were told he has like autographed Taylor Swift T-shirts or something, and they're $3,500 or something.
Well, he said it was like a big frame. It was a big framed
sure, yeah.
piece.
Yeah.
Her autographs, some art, and all that stuff. Look, that stuff's always going to sell. Shirts are going to bring them in, and then we'll just figure out where we go from there.
I used to watch. I don't watch as much anymore.
Oh, I used to watch that show too. I like
used
the
to
Antiques
watch.
Roadshow.
Yeah,
Pawn Stars.
it's been a while. There was a point in time where I constantly would watch that show. Not as much here recently, but appreciate him giving us some time. All right, we're a little late for a break. Come back. We'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We're going to have Chris Fowler, who will be on the international call for the game, joining us in about 15 minutes or so. And we'll get back into the discrepancy, Mahomes, Purdy, and what has to happen for it to shrink, if possible, next.
You're listening to
Clear.
Cody and Gold, live from Radio Row in Las Vegas, presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend and save $3 off any large or family-size pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. 610 Sports Radio.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
Pizza lovers, listen up. For the big game, Papa Murphy's has a super deal for 610 Sports Radio listeners. Order any large or family pizza online and get $3 off. That's right. Use promo code 610 and save $3 off your favorite pizza. Load it up just the way you want it. Order your delicious Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza in advance so it'll be hot and ready for the big game. That's $3 off any large or family-sized pizza for 610 listeners only. Order now at papamurphys.com and use promo code 610.
Outdoor America with Tommy Bench, Saturday mornings on 610 Sports Radio at 5 a.m. and the Odyssey app. This week, Tommy answers your questions. Outdoor America, presented by Wholesale Batteries, the right battery the first time.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And if you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W, or 2, or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win the Super Bowl, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob. And make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas, $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas on an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet? Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And if you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W, or 2, or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win the Super Bowl, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob. And make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas, $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas on an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet? Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
It's a new year, and Trailside RV Center on I-70 in Green Valley has the Jayco RV of your dreams. Trade-in values are high, and the 2024 financing rates say it's time to buy at Trailside RV. Go to trailsiderv.com and check out our prices now.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
It's like when you get a paper cut, and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened, and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values. Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to victorychrysler-dodge-jeepram.com.
Celebrate your home team's Tully touchdown with Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. May your team be swift and their aim true. May the refs be forever in your favor and your whiskey always Tullamore Dew. Tullamore Dew, the original triple blended, triple distilled, smooth sipping Irish whiskey, made exactly for game day moments like this. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, imported by William Grant & Sons Incorporated, New York, New York. Please enjoy Tullamore Dew responsibly.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save on bulk purchases of select insulation from trusted brands like Green Fiber. And there's more. Save 10% when you buy 6 or more select interior pre-hung and slab doors. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Okay, 3 more climbers, 7 loggers.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch.
What about truck driver contracts?
Which means a new HR manager will be the first hire to fall.
Then we'll need to staff up the warehouse.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Mark M. Ferguson, Kansas City's attorney since 1996. Mark M. Ferguson, Kansas City's attorney since 1996. Mark Ferguson has helped thousands of Kansas Cityans during their time of need, from traffic violations to more serious crimes. For integrity, knowledge, and an incredible reputation, call Mark at 816-203-2263.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner, the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Our big game coverage brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union, proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card at chiefschecking.com. Of course, you can watch the show on YouTube, Twitch as well, Twitter, Facebook, as we are in Las Vegas. And Thursday it is already the busiest day from Radio Row. And if you were listening in the last segment, you never know who's going to stop by. A lot more celebrities here today than there were even yesterday. We're expected to be joined by Chris Fowler, really the voice of ESPN and voice of tennis and football. He will actually be one of the international voices for the Super Bowl. ESPN does the international. For people, literally, if you're on a cruise ship and you want to, you still want to watch the Super Bowl, that's the broadcast you get.
Yeah, you get Chris Fowler on that call.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, man. Who goes on a cruise in the middle of the Super Bowl?
I don't know. If you want to get away from the cold weather, it's cold weather. Go take a cruise to the Caribbean.
Come to Vegas. Well, not this week. Normally, I would say go to Vegas.
The weather this week in Vegas is not Vegas-like. I mean, this is unbelievable.
It doesn't feel like we're allowed to complain.
No,
we cannot. Brisk.
Yeah, our Uber drivers have been like, the weather. They're like, the weather sucks. It's normally not like this, and all, and that's the case. This was just bad luck. That's all that was.
Yesterday, we spoke to a guy who said, "I have lived in Vegas my entire life." Like a couple days ago, this is the most rain I've ever seen in a single week in my entire life here. And you're like, what? You've lived here? Because it rained for like a day and a half straight. I know that doesn't sound like much based on Kansas City, but apparently in Vegas, that's about the maximum amount you can get. That's fine. We'll somehow endure. This is like Kyle Shanahan complaining about the field based on that, which, speaking of, Kyle Shanahan, this is why I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but why I am firm in my stance that Kyle Shanahan is one of the 5 best coaches in the NFL is he got Jimmy Garoppolo, and then he followed up getting Jimmy Garoppolo by getting Brock Purdy, a 7th-round rookie to the NFC title game last year, and then a 7th-round second-year player to the Super Bowl. Credit to where it's due, but there's still a gap in the quarterback play to the point that it is the hardest thing for me to shake because the gap between the Chiefs' weapons on offense, let's just say weapons, Debo, McCaffrey, and for the 49ers, the Chiefs' weapons where you're like, well, Kelsey and Rasheed, he's a rookie, and Pacheco, the gap between those weapons, it's still bigger between quarterback, in my opinion.
Of course.
Like if you made me rank the Chiefs' weapons in the league 1 through 15, the gap is different, and it's at quarterback, which is a significantly different position.
There's no question. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to debate the discrepancy of QB play in this game. The question will be, and I think all that matters for Brock Purdy, he doesn't have to try to go be the better quarterback in the game. He doesn't.
No?
He doesn't have to try. That's not been the MO for them all year. He doesn't have to be that. He just has to make sure he doesn't make the mistakes. And that's why I'll be really curious to see, are they able to limit the mistakes on the 49ers side? Are they able to have a turnover-free game? Because I think ultimately that is going to be what could cost the 49ers. It's not that he has to go throw for 300-plus yards. No, they just need to find somebody that doesn't make some mistakes and doesn't turn the football over. And that's where Kansas City, who didn't really force turnovers a whole lot this year.
No.
But in the postseason, what has happened?
They've been better at
it.
The
Chiefs have been able defensively to come up with some big-time turnovers. 2 weeks ago, we were discussing Lamar Jackson not fumbling the football all that much.
Since Thanksgiving, I think is what we had said, and then he lost the ball.
That's right.
Yeah,
the strip sack from Charles Omenihu, who will not be available in this game. All right, we're joined once again on Radio Row from a special guest, Chris Fowler of ESPN, really the voice of ESPN, Chris, and you're going to be on the
There's
international.
a lot of voices of ESPN. I'm not claiming that.
But that
I'm
voice
happy to be one of them.
I mean, come on now. That's an iconic voice that we've got in front of us right now. It's an honor to have you on the show, and our guests are presented by Spice and Foods. How's Vegas treating you so far?
I got in late last night. I've been out here when the game wasn't here, just to take in the Super Bowl. A couple Pac-12 games out here, UFC out here. This is cool, though. We are calling the game for the Australia, Kiwi, and cruise ship feed. So no one I know in this country will get anywhere near this, but it still doesn't diminish the fact that it's going to be fun to be inside the building and see the Chiefs and the Niners. I could do the entire game, Chiefs and 49ers, in a really average Australian accent, which would annoy the audience down there.
Do you brush up on your hey, I want to make a reference to the people who might be listening to this.
I'm going to talk to them. I know those people, man.
Like, mention the best rugby player in the world and just make sure he gets referenced as
whenever
as it
the
relates
Chiefs
to
get a
Mahomes.
stop and Wisnowski runs out there, the Australian crowd will go crazy. I mean, every 49ers punt is going to excite them.
That's right.
No, I think seriously, I've covered the Australian Open tennis for like 20-some years. So I've been down there during Super Bowl time. I've watched many Super Bowls, which are on Monday morning down there, in bars in Sydney and in Melbourne, trying to feel connected to home while I have a couple of days after the tournament to decompress. And so I know those people. They put a jersey on, doesn't matter what team's in the game, they're going to wear their team's jersey to a bar, and they will start drinking whenever they have to, and they'll have a really good time. And I've seen it grow from something down that's a curiosity. I watched the Chiefs win. I watched Joe Tessitzer call the Chiefs-Niners games in a bar in Sydney. I can put myself right there. And so I'll talk to those people when we do the broadcast, because I'm sure there's going to be Chiefs fans down under who jumped in the bandwagon who will be watching the game.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say I've been impressed because Travis Kelce, even the podium today, said he was like vying for Andy. He's like, I'm trying to get a game in Spain, because the international game and the scene has impressed and grown so much to the point that the NFL's going to put a game the day after opening night for Thursday on a Friday in Brazil. That's like a wild decision.
I called the game in Wembley, which was really cool. We had a game there this season, and I've seen a lot of great soccer at Wembley. I've seen some good concerts there. To call a game there was pretty cool. To see the English fans were, they're somewhat knowledgeable. I don't know Brazil. Like, are they going to have any idea what they're watching?
Don't know.
They're going to be fired up because they're fired up for everything. But I think it's cool.
This game itself, the quarterbacks, we were just talking as you were walking up about Brock Purdy, Mahomes. Brock Purdy doesn't have to play better than Patrick Mahomes in this game. That's not required for that. That's, in fact, very unlikely.
They better hope not if you're the Niners fans.
Yeah. I mean, how do you see these two teams from the quarterbacks and what each one is going to be asked to do?
Fascinating, because you got one team that, although the Chiefs, obviously, as people listening know, were built around defense and other things. 15 is still 15, and he shows up, and every opponent fears him, respects him, and knows that when he's out there, they got their hands full. Purdy is going to be a guy that I think no matter what he does in his career is going to be underappreciated, just because when you're Mr. Irrelevant, when you don't come in with a lot of fanfare, when you don't wow people at the combine with your measurables, you can't throw the ball from here across this giant convention center, people are going to question you. But when you look at the season he's had, Chiefs fans should not be overconfident. We got this. Brock Purdy, who's he? We just went and beat Lamar Jackson. We beat Josh Allen. Who's this guy? Be very careful with that, because you look at him, and the deeper you look at Purdy, the more you understand why the Niners are in this position. And yes, I understand the cast is tremendous. I mean, I'm a McCaffrey guy from way back. I love Christian McCaffrey. And I respect their defense and their entire organization. Yes, their coaching staff and the infrastructure is awesome. But it doesn't work without that guy. And even though I never covered him in college, Iowa State was never quite good enough to get our broadcast there. It's kind of, neither was Texas Tech when Pat was there either, by the way. So I never saw either of these guys play in person in college. Purdy should not be underestimated. Against the blitz, his metrics are very good. Under pressure, his numbers are very good. Throws the ball downfield very well. These are all the things that, situationally, you're judged by. And he shows up and does it. Now, It hasn't been great throughout the postseason. He's got those bad patches in each of the 2 wins they've had, so they've had to come from behind. Would not want to do that against Kansas City. Do not want to have one of those bad halves as an offense and as a quarterback that they've had and then try to recover. That wouldn't be a good idea the way that Pat and this offense is playing right now.
Statistically, where the 49ers have been, they've been the best offense in football. I think sometimes that gets lost a little bit because of the Purdy stuff. But I think the Chiefs' defense is just as underrated.
Yeah.
They do not get discussed with the level of defensive play. They have been the best defense in football consistently through an entire season. Never allowed more than 27 points. No one else in the NFL could stop people from getting to 30. Hell, even the 49ers have allowed 30 points or more in 3 of their last 6 games.
It's shocking. It's probably even disorienting for a lot of Chiefs fans. Wait a minute, this is us. We're winning with defense. Good, but because you look at this team, they've had to, right? Out of necessity. They're nowhere near this game. If what you just said isn't true, because you're not used to seeing. I'm a Denver fan from growing up. Like, they don't score a touchdown. They score 9 points.
Yeah.
It's Denver. They come out here. Or I guess it was a home game against the Raiders. They put 14 up. Right. So down the stretch, they didn't have it totally fixed. Then they get in the playoffs and they flip the switch and 87 is going out of his mind, and they're looking like the Super Bowl champs. But I think the well-roundedness of this team is what's really impressive. And in fact, the winning DNA obviously permeates the roster, and that's what you lean on. Top to bottom roster, Niners have the edge. I don't think even Chiefs fans would they fight that. I don't know. You tell me.
They didn't fight that against the Ravens either.
Well, I mean, if you won a play. I did Baltimore game. They didn't have Lamar playing late in the year, but that's a brutal place to win as a visitor. And it was all set up for the Ravens. And they went in there. They broke Buffalo hearts. They broke Ravens hearts. They reached in and pulled it out of their chest and stepped on it. That's that kind of win. And I think relish the role of doing that.
No doubt.
So that's why when you pick against the Chiefs, man, you do so at your own peril. I know what the experts say about the depth of the roster. I also know when the Chiefs are out there and you got 15 and 87 in that defense, good luck. They're not going to give it to you.
You mentioned it as theirs. We're talking to Chris Fowler of ESPN. The villain role. It's a weird spot because you grew up, you said, in Denver, right?
Yeah, I did.
And so to think that Kansas City and a team from Kansas City would now be a team that a lot of people hate.
Yeah. Well, you went 50 years without winning a Super Bowl, right?
Exactly.
Before that game.
And lovable underdog
and you
for a while.
You think about that year, like 4 years ago, these teams played, and like the Chiefs, I think they scored like 87 points or something in the 2 playoff games going into the game. But they gave up a ton.
Yes.
I mean, they were winning. They were falling way behind and winning these shootouts. And you think about how different the texture is of the team 4 years later, and how brilliant Andy Reid is, and how you just adjust and win with what you've got. Right.
I want to just go back to what you had said about hey, they came to the postseason and flipped it. I think there's a part of that gets misunderstood about and you've watched a lot of all-time great players and players who play their best in the big moments. Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in mitigating turnovers anyway. In the postseason, he's twice as good. In your being around great players, there are some players who will just take whatever they are and be 10% better in those moments every time. I think that's what really separates him from everyone else in this league right now.
No doubt. And what makes him special to watch. That's why when I say, I didn't call him a Mahomes game in college, and Texas Tech wasn't an elite team. See, there's no way of knowing that about him because, we knew he. No, you didn't, because he wasn't in that position, right?
Just that one Baker game, that was it, right? And he lost that one, too.
You don't have guys who go through a college where you lose 6 games or 5 games, but then rise to the occasion. Because you're playing in the Weed Whacker Bowl if you have 5 losses in college. So you don't get a chance to see a dude bounce back, redeem himself up his level from pretty average. I mean, the offense was pretty average for a lot of the year, as you know. It wasn't just drop passes or penalties. It's all of it. And then for him to come and flip the switch, I don't think I've seen a more dramatic switch flip than these last 3 games, frankly. So.
You were working in any Taylor Swift? We had the Taylor Swift shirts.
I sit down before you even start talking. There's a Taylor Swift T-shirt here.
As you can imagine, very popular in Kansas City right now.
Are these offered up to guests?
Go for it. Absolutely.
If you'd like a shirt, you're welcome to one.
I don't know that I'll ever put it on myself, but I know somebody that would like that shirt. No, listen, I mean, who is so angry and mad at the world and just chafed at where their life is that they would get on the air or sit in a bar or talk to anybody and bitch about the fact that Taylor Swift likes the NFL, is in love with one of the best players in the league, is showing up at games, is showing what appears to be 100% authentic enthusiasm. That's going to piss you off? I mean, come on.
People love to, people just love to be grumpy and
They don't like other
upset
people being
about
happy.
something. Yeah.
There's a lot of angry older dudes, though,
Yes.
that seem to be, they're not the farthest thing from Swifties, who seem to be disproportionately upset about this. And I just wonder, like, okay, it starts with two young people in love. Okay, let's just start there, right? I'm assuming that they
Sounds
are,
nice.
right? That's not a bad place to start. If that's the foundation of it, and then she's excited because she's never been around the job that he does, and it's pretty damn exciting to come on the scene and witness this. I mean, and you're going to get upset about it? Whatever. Is she going to make it back from Tokyo? Do we have the logistics locked in?
We know way more about her concert schedule than we probably should.
Do we know when she lands?
Not yet, officially.
No, remember, she's suing that kid in college.
God.
Well, she just found out the hard way. Some kid in college who is tracking her private plane. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Have you not seen high-level recruiting yet? We've been playing, or high-level coaching changes.
Oh, my God.
Plane tracking has been a part of college football forever.
Yeah. This assistant coach was on this private plane into this SEC town, and we and he met with this real estate agent and saw this house.
Yeah.
That's we've been doing. You're right. We've been doing that in college for a long time.
It's she just got to adjust to the new side. What style of game do you think that this is, by the way?
Good question, man. I see the over/under. I'm wondering, like, is the under the smart play because the Chiefs have gone under a lot, and maybe the town we're sitting in hasn't quite caught up to the fact that these games are far more low scoring. I could really see a low-scoring game. I really could. I mean, you talk about the Chiefs' defense. The Niners' defense is respectful. I mean, they're a proven big play defense. I mean, they had their moments where they got torched. If you look at the tape, oh, my God, like Detroit's speed overwhelmed them. Williams and Gibbs are running past them, and they're sleepwalking, and they're down 17, and then they didn't allow anything. And the Chiefs, are we going to see the Chiefs' offense was in the second half of Baltimore?
Right.
Or the one that came out guns blazing and built a lead? I mean, it's a good question. I could see this being low scoring way quicker than I could see this being like a race to 30.
We're all on the same page. We've been talking about that all week. The Chiefs' second half, we were looking at some of the betting angles for this. Second half unders for the Chiefs, 18-2 under. So low-scoring second halves, I could definitely see it being a low-scoring game.
I mean, that's sometimes it's just because they're struggling for their life.
Yes.
And sometimes it's because when you look at that, they got a lead and they're sitting at it. It hasn't been the latter very often, as you know. So.
Chris Fowler with ESPN, you'll be on the international broadcast. I know of one person for sure I can guarantee you. My uncle's going to be in Australia, is in Australia for the last month. So the one person I can promise you, and he grew up in Kansas City, and he lives in the Bay Area. So perfect.
I got Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky, who they are absolute, and I say this with love, they're football nerds. They admit it. They could break down a game for 9 hours. They could do all 22. I don't know that your friends in Australia are going to want that. But I'm sure we'll adjust, but they're going to get a lot of NFL brain power next to me in the booth when you're in Australia. Listen to this thing.
Chris, appreciate the time.
Pleasure, guys.
Chris Fowler of ESPN, our guest here from Las Vegas, presented by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. And when we think about the upcoming game on Sunday, and something we were just talking about with Chris, I think the lower scoring game is absolutely in play, and I haven't talked to many people.
Kansas City.
Absolutely. That's the kind of game that they need to be in if they want to win this thing.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we all seem to be in agreement. Occasionally, someone comes on here. Who was it? Someone was like, maybe it was a Monday against. Like, I think it's going to be 38-35. You're like, whoa. You're like, we're going that again? No, Kansas City hasn't really been in a high-scoring game. Buffalo's about the closest they got to, in my opinion, all season, the entire year. The Buffalo game is as close as they got to, like, what if it was a shootout? And they still held that team in the second half to under a touchdown for the whole second half. They didn't score as much in the second half. Like, it still went that way where – because it's not just that the Chiefs' defense is great in the second half. Is they also don't score, as we know. That's what the unders in the second half have been hitting. They don't score and their opponents don't score. Well, no wonder it's an under every time if nobody's ever going to put points on the board.
It is weird to just think about somebody's on a cruise ship or whatever and just watching the Super Bowl on a completely different broadcast than everybody else.
Yeah.
That's just like I just can't imagine that. But
it'd also be weird to watch the Super Bowl on a Monday morning.
That
you said in Australia,
yeah.
Get up, it's like 9 a.m. and you're just like watching the Super Bowl. That would throw me off so much.
But I guess over there you're used to watching NFL games that you're
that's
just
the
used
time
to
you watch them.
Now if you're there vacationing, way different. You're just completely thrown off.
In fairness, I've gone to a bar with a friend to watch like a Premier League final.
Well, the World Cup maybe not as much this past year, but sometimes matches are at 5 a.m. Chris Fowler was just in Australia. The Australian Open, Drew, you were watching it. Australian Open's on at what, 3 a.m., 2 a.m.?
The final was on at 2:30. Yes, I was
Wait,
not.
You were up?
No, I was not up for the final. But my wife and I would stay up until like midnight or even a little bit later to catch a match because a lot of the stuff was in prime time, post prime time. Jason Kelsey not going to be able to join the show, but he will be getting a Taylor Swift Loves Kansas City T-shirt.
Oh, like he already got it? Or?
I gave it to his agent.
Nice.
Okay. And Chad Ochocinco says he's picking the Chiefs because we want the Chiefs to win. He was like, who do you want to win? I said, well, I work at KC. He goes, all right, the Chiefs are going to win then.
He just says that to everybody that asks him who's going to win.
I caught up with Chad Ochocinco.
I did not put it in the video, but I told him who day, and he said who day.
Okay, that's where it
Thank
was.
you for not putting that in the video.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
This is Drew's dream.
Yeah, later
Jamar
on.
Chase is supposed to be here.
And T. Higgins. So
Ochocinco.
former Bengal, soon to be Chief T. Higgins will be will be here, and current Bengals wide receiver
that would be a question if I got T. What would it be like to play with Patrick Mahomes next season?
Fair question. It's a fair question.
Honestly, if he wants to come on the show only to answer that question, he's welcome here. Although, got all those concerns about wide receiver. It's not that they aren't real and they don't have to deal with it in the postseason. I'm not going to worry about it for this game. I'm going to worry about how they match up in this one. I don't have to sweat over wide receivers as much.
All right, coming up next, we will be joined by Trey Wingo of Caesars Sportsbook. Talk a little betting with him. How does he see this game playing out? And Cody says this potential player's final game in a KC uniform could mean big, big things.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
You're clear.
From Radio Row in Las Vegas, presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend and save $3 off any large or family-size pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust.
Just making sure know what's trending.
To learn more, 610 Sports Radio. Big game coverage is brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card, at chiefschecking.com.
There's going to be some long days and some long nights as we're in Las Vegas covering the Chiefs for the big game, and nobody's supposed to feel bad for us by any means. But, you know, if you're out late sometimes the next morning, you were trying to put in your contacts, your eyes just don't cooperate. That used to be a problem for me, but it is not anymore thanks to Dury Vision. Dury Vision is the best in Kansas City when it comes to LASIK vision procedures because, well, they're the most experienced as well with over 65,000 vision correction procedures performed. And it's why I trusted Dury Vision with my eyes so that now I don't use contacts. I don't use glasses. And it means waking up in the morning, seeing the way I need to see, and not having to have any assistance with that. It makes my travel plans a lot easier, not forgetting contacts or contact solution. You can also take advantage of their friends and family event going on right now at Dury Vision, where you could save up to $1,000 on LASIK, but this is for a limited time only. So you want to go to DuryVision.com and book that free consultation, or give them a call at 913-491-3330 and tell them Gold from 610 sent you.
Make Gates Barbecue your go-to for the big game watch party. Whether you're the host or a guest, the big game watch party won't be complete without Gates Barbecue sauce and seasonings. Gates seasonings go great on popcorn as a fun topping for dips, or sprinkle on chips for that extra flavor pop. Nothing says the big game like a Gates party tray. Stop by any of their 5 locations and pick up one. You'll be the hit of the party. Spice up your big game watch party with Gates Barbecue. Gates Barbecue, a Kansas City tradition.
Hey, it's Alex Gold for Midwest Marine Boat Company, inviting you to visit the largest indoor showroom in Kansas City for Midwest Marine's in-house sales event, happening February 13th through the 17th, featuring brands like Bennington, Crown Line, Vexus, and Sea Arc. Huge savings on all remaining 2023 models. Huge factory incentives and discounts. And take advantage of Midwest Marine's free storage and shrink wrap until April 30th. It's the huge in-house sales event at Midwest Marine Boat Company in Grandview.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today. Because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life. Because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. And if you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is about being with your friends. It's about getting the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite snacks, and placing some super bets. That's what I love most, taking the point spread, the over-under, the coin toss, the player props. It's a lot of fun. It's the last football game until the summer. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. New customers can join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT. Use my promo code to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/CDOT. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued. A non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Wholesale batteries for all your battery needs. Lithium batteries for your motorcycle and ATVs. Lithium has superior power density with a longer life when compared to lead acid. Speak with Wholesale Batteries today on how you can benefit from lithium batteries.
JR and Company offers a lifetime workmanship warranty on every residential roof. Why? Because our roofers are that good. Kinda makes you wonder about the other guys. JR and Company, home of the free online storm check at jrstormcheck.com.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
About 2 minutes.
Sure that you'll get your biggest refund, and if they don't, you get your money back.
Yeah, I'll let this 1 minute commercial play, and then the liner's legal ID. So it'll be about 1 minute.
Perfect.
So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum free dry spray.
All right, about 50 seconds then.
Lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, this is Chris Jones, and you're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Back here in Las Vegas on Radio Row, thanks to our friends at Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend and save $3 off any large or family-size pizza with promo code 610, and by Shelter Insurance. Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. At Cody and Gold, day number 4, is that right? Am I adding everything right? Day number 4
right.
from Radio Row. We got Trey Wingo joining us now. Excited to have Trey. As you kind of joked before we hopped on the air, we just see you every year now.
I was about to say, does this ever get boring for you guys in Kansas City?
Not at all.
No, I kind of like it, honestly. It's like a free vacation in February, and then I get to go to a Super Bowl for free. Seems kind of nice.
Yeah, it's lather, rinse, repeat. And I just hope that everybody in Kansas City appreciates the moment, because what we're seeing is so historically off the charts. It's insane. And Super Bowl 4 to Super Bowl 54, and then it's just been raining Super Bowls ever since. So just embrace every second of this, guys.
Yeah. You sound like it's like Billy Madison. You're shaking that kid's cheeks.
Yeah.
Cherish.
Yeah. I mean, this is like this will it may never happen again. So be all in on every second of this. This is the worst team in terms of total that there's been there, and yet here we are again.
Yeah, it's hard.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling grew hands. It's amazing.
yeah.
For one game, that's all we needed.
All those moments throughout the season in that, a lot of people looked at this football team and certainly didn't think they were going to be good enough to get to this point, and understandably so. And that's why going forward it's going to be so tough to freak out. Even a year from now, if it's week 6 and this team is struggling, Trey, to not think that they can't figure it out. Some of these great teams that are part of sports dynasties, they know when to flip the switch and when it matters most, which is in the playoffs.
Well, it's just I've said this since week 1, and people got on me about this. You're not giving the other team their due. No, I don't think so. The only team that can beat the Chiefs is the Chiefs. Let's go look at every one of their losses, starting week 1. A perfect pass turned into a pick 6, right, off Kadarius Toney's hands, right? And then you look at the game in Denver. 5 turnovers in that game, including they're just about to get the ball back in a 1-score game, and Mecole bobbles the ball inside the 5-yard line. Go look at the Eagles game. Dropped pass right there. Go look at the Packers game. The difference in that game was the penalties in the red zone on those 2 possessions in the first half, which turned 2 touchdowns into 2 field goals. Go look at the Raiders game. Aiden O'Connell didn't complete a pass after the first quarter, and barring 2 Mahomes turnovers 7 seconds apart, they don't score in that game. They win that game. Every single loss by the Chiefs this season was the Chiefs going bleh and throwing up on themselves. The only team that can beat the Chiefs is the Chiefs. They play clean, they win. It's that simple.
In the postseason, they play more clean. That's what matters. Mahomes has been mistake-free.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't screwed up a single moment in the entire postseason in 3 games. It doesn't seem like an accident that now they're in the Super Bowl because of that.
And I don't think people really understand that, because more games are lost than won in the NFL. That's just a fact. Bill Belichick's mantra was always let the other team beat themselves. Let's not do that. And so what happened in the AFC Championship game? Great start. Tone setter, right? The only issue I had was kick the field goal on 4th and 1 to go up 10 points.
Sure.
Take that, go up 10, and then who knows? They might have the Ravens might have unraveled earlier, But, they get the field goal by Butker. Butker, by the way.
Oh, he's a stud.
Who, over his career, has had sort of these moments where the chippies sometimes go sideways. Last year, the Super Bowl, the divisional game against the Bills 2 years ago, he missed an extra point and a field goal that wouldn't have needed overtime if those things had been there. God, he's been stones, absolute stones. They won't beat themselves in the postseason. You're going to have to beat them, and that's going to be a very difficult thing.
We're talking to Trey Wingo here live from Radio Row. Our guests are presented by Spice & Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of talk about legacy around this one, too, for Mahomes, but also for this Chiefs team. Dynasty cements themselves, right, with a win if they get that, and back-to-back hasn't happened over 20 years. Where do you put the Chiefs in historical context if they win this thing?
Well, I think they're already at the dynasty level. I mean, like 6 straight AFC championships, 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. Yeah, it would be great to win one, but to me, multiple championships over a short period of time and always being in it. Like, you look at the Patriots dynasty, right? What it really is 2 different runs followed by almost a decade of not winning at all. I mean, Brady won, and they've won Super Bowl 36, 38, and 39. They didn't win again until Super Bowl 49. They went 2 more times and lost both those times to the Giants and Eli Manning. But they went basically a decade without winning a Super Bowl. And then they went on this unbelievable run, 49, 51, 53. And then Tom says, what the hell, let's make it 55 with a different team. You know what I mean? So you look at the context of their windows. There was a concentrated window early, and then a stretch where they were in it every year, and then a ridiculous run at the end. So what we're seeing from Kansas City is that early window. And by the way, they're in their 4th Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes at the age of 28. Youngest ever to do that. Brady was the previous youngest at 30. Okay? So we're talking about statistically now, if you look at Mahomes and Brady through the first 6 seasons, in almost every category save one, Mahomes is sailing ahead of the Tom Brady-led success with the Patriots. Chiefs have more regular season wins in those first 6 seasons than the Patriots did. They have more postseason wins. He has a higher passer rating. He has more touchdowns and to interception ratio. In every category, he's ahead of Tom, save one. Tom had 3 Super Bowl wins through his first 6 years. Patrick has 2. He has a chance to get his 3rd. And then we're talking off to the races with what we're seeing here.
Since we're in Vegas and we both like to sports wager, you got a couple bets you like? We're both on Pacheco's yardage totals because we think that he might get the ball a lot. You got a couple of ones you like?
Oh, I like that bet because if you look at what the 49ers have done in the postseason, they've been gashed on the ground. Both Aaron Jones and David Montgomery until Gibbs fumbled in the NFC Championship game. That Lions defense, that 49ers defense was giving up a lot of yards. This team, and now Tooney's out probably, and that hurts them. But Allegretti played really well. And I would argue right now the Ravens front seven is better than the 49ers front seven. Better.
Playing better for sure.
Yeah, the Chiefs defense is playing better than the Niners defense right now. They are. They're playing better. Significantly better. And, give me 15. I'll tell you a great story about Super Bowl 54. When I was doing the radio show with Golick, we had the president of the 49ers on. His name was Al Guido. And after the interview, I pulled him aside and said, so what do you think? He goes, Trey, I love our team. Top to bottom, we're better. But that guy, he points to 15, scares me to death. They're up 10 with 8 minutes to play. They lost by 11. Why would you bet against him? I understand the 49ers probably have a better roster. I understand there's some health issues with Amenahu being out, which is significant.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Tranquill, by the way, played amazing against the Ravens. But why would you bet against this guy? I get it, but what would convince you that this is going to be the time? Outside of a brain fart at the end of the 2021 AFC Championship game at the halftime, just take the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a team going to their 5 and maybe their 6th straight Super Bowl if Dee Ford lines up on sides in the interception by Daniel Sorensen. Right? That game never gets to overtime. Just don't beat yourselves. Don't beat yourselves. And they don't normally do that.
So tell us about Stunt. You're here with Stunt.
Yeah, the Stunt app is basically a safe space in the poisonous hellhole that is social media.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description.
Yeah, think of it as Twitter without the doom scrolling. I don't care what your opinions are about the presidential election or any political leanings you have or what's going on in the world. I don't care about your food takes. I don't care about your recipes. I don't care what your kids did. Don't. They're your kids. I'm happy for you. Stunt is an app for sports fans, by sports fans, only to talk sports. You can build your own platform. You can host your own show. Mark Schlereth and I host a show there every Monday night.
Literally, the timing could not have been better. He did not know you were behind him.
Timing is everything. We do a show together. That's my work wife for 17 years at ESPN. We do a show every week on the Stunt app at 6 o'clock Eastern. You can download it at the Google Play for Android or the App Store. It's just for sports. You can build your own platform, create your own takes. We do trivia contests where you can win real money on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a chance for you to build your brand and just communicate with sports fans just about sports. It's like a weighted blanket in social media. There is no doom scrolling. There is no doom unless your team loses. Okay, it's not about anything but sports.
Love it. I used to play HQ Trivia,
absolutely.
so I know all about it. That was fun
Absolutely.
for a while. Trey, we really appreciate it. Real quick game prediction. How do you see this playing out Sunday?
It's probably going to be close, but at the end of the day, give me 15 with the ball. What did he say on 3rd and 9 to Andy? I want the ball. I want the ball. And 3rd and 9, 32-yard completion to MVS, who grew hands. It's a wonderful thing.
We hope those hands are still working on Sunday. That's Trey Wingo, kind enough to give us some time here in Las Vegas. Our guests are presented by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. Reminder still to come a little bit later on today from Radio Row. Chase Daniel, former Chiefs backup quarterback, former Missouri Tiger, and also Tony Pollard, running back for the Dallas Cowboys, coming up around 1:45 as we continue here in Las Vegas. So I wanted Cody to get back into a little bit about the big game moments for big-time players and potentially a few players that could be playing in their final game as a member of the Chiefs. We don't know for sure, but it's trending in more of a direction for at least one, if not two, key players on defense.
This is probably the final game for Chris Jones. That I can say probably. But what I can tell you is whether he's a Chief or not, he's going to have a massive game. This is my official prediction. Chris Jones is going to go off. He has multiple things on the line, and we have seen what has come of that this season in particular, but just in general. Yesterday we had a former NFL player on, and he said, look, I think if you're being honest, you could say Chris Jones runs hot or cold. He's one of those guys that when you're coming out of the draft, you're like, he's when he's on, right? But he takes a few plays off or whatever. I don't think that's unfair of Chris Jones because when he plays, he is one of the single most dominant players in all of the NFL, especially on defense. I think he's going to have a huge performance. He's playing for 3 things, actually. His legacy is in this team's dynasty shot. We know that means something to him. He's made that very clear. Money, just straight up cash, Gold. He's playing for over $1 million for this one, too, in a bonus he will get if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. And I think he's playing for, his final reputation and future money. They're different, right? Where he's trying to prove to the rest of the league that he's the guy that should be the man for the rest of the way. And so with all of that on the line, I think Chris Jones is going to have a massive game.
Well, I think does he have to have a massive game for the win? No. But boy, oh boy, if you told me Chris Jones ends up being a game wrecker in those key spots, that's why it matters. Yeah, what I like to tell you that he's a wrecker first quarter, second quarter, third and fourth. Ultimately, we know how this works though with Chris Jones, and in particular in some of these key playoff moments. Fourth quarter, Chiefs are down 3 or Chiefs are up 3, third and long or third down.
Get the punt.
And he does know when to flip the switch. There is something to be said of, like, can you keep the motor going all 4 quarters? Ultimately, like, he knows what he can do and what he can't do. You don't want him worn down in the fourth quarter on that third. So I
like him late in the game.
I'm good with how he approaches it. There's the huge legacy aspect. You're right, and what this says for him. We talked about earlier in the week, or last week maybe it was, just that you're part of a dynasty if you win. You're one of the 3 or 4 best players of that dynasty across the board, and you would have 3 rings. And you're also now, you've been an All-Pro, and you had 15.5 sacks a season ago. Like, you are going to the Hall of Fame. And he can still go to the Hall of Fame if he loses on Sunday.
It's just a lot easier.
A little more work. Case is kind of closed if you win it. If you don't, let's say you go to Carolina or Chicago or somewhere else in the offseason, you're going to have to keep having a couple more double-digit sack seasons to cement it so that people aren't critical of it. So, yeah, there's massive legacy aspect. Chris Jones, the biggest. And then there's some other Chiefs players that could be playing their final game. Willie Gay, even though when I had a chance to talk to him as we were doing the opening night, he kind of downplayed it. He's like, I'm just worried about the Super Bowl. I was just thinking about Arrowhead and how much I love Arrowhead, because he sent out that tweet that had a lot of people talking prior to the game against the Dolphins, I think it was. And I kind of mentioned, I just realized this could be my last game at Arrow. I got a little emotional about it.
Yeah.
I think he knows where it's likely trending. So I think this is Willie Gay Jr.'s final game in a Chiefs uniform.
I remember asking Chris Jones about it after last year's Super Bowl. Because remember, he wasn't under, he didn't have enough time on there that we weren't totally sure. And I'm sorry, someone's saying Jones already got the $1 million for the Super Bowl appearance. Well, fine, he can play for a Super Bowl check. But when you start talking about where and what he's got on the line, there's just a lot on it. I think Chris Jones has almost as much to play for than any player on the field. It's just the legacy and everything that we've mentioned in between and being there for this team. But, I remember asking him just like you do sometimes. You don't want to, bring up a bad moment in the middle. But, this might be the time to be like, you just won the Super Bowl. You're a 3-time Super Bowl champ. What if this is it with the Chiefs is a really serious thing that I think he won't have to think about yet till this game is over. I just think he's in for a big one. Chris Jones, this is we talked about.
I think you said it before the AFC title game as well. And
he's
come up with big moments. That's what the best players do.
Yeah, I don't think and that's it. I've told you, I think sometimes underplayed. Travis Kelce's one of the 5 greatest playoff performers in NFL history. And because Frank Clark got all the sacks for a while, we always thought of him as the closer for the Chiefs. Chris Jones has come up so big in this postseason run. He's a huge part of their defensive success. I'm convinced he's in for another huge game in the Super Bowl game. And like you said, if he goes off, what do you think? How do you think that result's going to go for the 49ers?
Yeah, and look, I'm not
all of a
telling
sudden
you,
he has a massive game again.
Look, I don't think he's winning Super Bowl MVP unless he has 2 or 3 sacks and a fumble return for a touchdown. Okay, there's a reason he's 140 to 1 or something like that to win Super Bowl MVP. They will gladly take 2 timely sacks or even 1 timely sack. I don't need a huge stat line from Chris Jones in this game. Can you be a game wrecker? Sometimes it's simply pushing them back. The offensive line back into the face. Brock Purdy. Who was it we had on? Was it Brian Billick a couple days ago? I honestly can't remember.
There's been a lot of people we talked to, man.
One of our guests,
I think it was Brian Billick.
One of our guests had mentioned that the height of Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
And hey, all of a sudden you get someone pushed back in your face. Plus, we know Chris Jones and this defense is really good at batting down passes. That's how you could also be a game wrecker in this game. Who else do you think it could be their final game as a Chief? So Chris Jones, Willie Gay. Obviously,
it could technically be
like
L'Jarius Sneed.
Guys like MVS, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, definitely.
Tony, Sky. I mean, those guys might not be on the field, but you can
I think
run through
Sneed's
the
back,
receivers.
but there's definitely that possibility. Mike Dana.
Yeah, Mike Dana. Well, the entire defensive line, let's be honest. I mean, they've got multiple guys. Turk Warden, I think, technically might be on the final year of his deal as well. Even more so than last year. There are a lot of guys. Now, look, I don't think they're all going to go. You and I both know that. I think for sure it's Chris Jones' last game. I think probably for sure it's Willie Gay's last game. And when you think about when they came, like Chris Jones played a few years in this league, right, before. He got a deal. But I mean, he's got to be behind on this high run. Willie Gay walked into the league, and this team just was winning Super Bowls. Like, it would be hard. This would be a tough team to walk away from. And I know every year's a little bit different, but those guys that are in the, like, you know what? I don't know what next year's going to hold, and I might have to go secure my future for my family, right, if you're Willie Gay, and take the biggest check on the market, even if it's from the Carolina Panthers or whatever the hell happens. They've got to be thinking about that and what their legacy in this town is going to end up being when it's all said and done. And honestly, for like guys like MVS, look, I don't think his time here went great. I think he got paid more than his production. But am I going to care what MVS got paid in this town if he finishes as a 2-time Super Bowl champ in the 2 years he was here? Hell no, I'm not going to care, Gold. Hell no. Congrats, MVS. Rock your rings, celebrate in a parade, do your thing. I don't care about any of the drops or wash away the Bulls. I don't care. Be an all-time Chief hero, and I won't care.
It'll change how people view him 20 years from now, depending on what he does in this game.
Sure.
Doesn't change anything, as you said, with how they should operate this offseason. They should cut him this offseason, and they will cut him this offseason. But it absolutely can change, hey, if he comes back to Kansas City in 10 or 15 years and we're having discussions about MVS, what do people think of immediately? Because he did help them last year in the AFC title game. He was massive. So far this postseason, he's had very timely catches. Three big-time catches for them, tough, difficult ones, one to seal last game against Baltimore. If he comes up with one big third down conversion, that's all I'm asking for in this game. And I think, by the way, he is going to be able to do that for them. I think there will be at least one catch in this game, one of maybe one target that he gets, one big catch in this football game, and we'll be saying, hey, you know what? When it mattered most, give him credit. He actually stepped up.
Don't forget, if you need food for the game, go to our friend orders for limit one per customer on $40 minimum orders. We're live here from Radio Row for the second consecutive year. You know what comes out around Super Bowl year? Something this show has talked about as a proud discuss the fact that we're a top 18 mid-market midday show in this country. I still say top 10 most handsome midday mid-market show in the country. The new rank to reveal to the people where Cody and Gold has gone since we got rid of our old producer. We've shined in our moment since Nick left this show. He said he was going to help us get there in the half a year he's here. Where did we rank this year?
Yeah, we no longer can say just a top 18 or whatever it was. Mid-market midday show. We can now say a top 14 mid-market midday show.
We've done it. You know it?
You know?
We've made it.
Just keep on moving up the
top 14, baby.
Keep moving up the charts. Yes, just keep on moving up the charts.
You feel different? I feel different.
You do?
Yeah, I feel different now that we're a top 14 mid-market midday show.
Drew's,
that's top 15. That's inching towards 10.
Drew is trying to take all the credit for it, too. He was here. He caught here in August, and he said the reason why we moved up 3 or 4 spots is because of his efforts.
I will say it is very cool to be associated with you guys and the fact that you already were one of the best midday shows in the country, and now we're moving up
midday.
For no, Cody, you are one of the. We are one of the best midday shows. Period. It doesn't matter.
Look, I'll be honest.
Say it with our chest.
I really don't care about the ranking. There's only one thing I care about the ranking. Are we ahead of the show that competes with us that we know we're better than? And it got confirmed again.
Oh, no, gap widened.
It's even wider.
The gap is widened. The separation between us is grown.
Yes, that's all. Honestly, that's all I care about with this. Like, I know we're not supposed to take these things all that seriously. We're supposed to act like we don't care. But be honest, it's still nice to see. I can be honest with you. It's still nice to see, and specifically that I believe actually every single show at our station, because shout out to Carrington, who was in number 2 or 3 on afternoons, and Bob and Josh were in the top 10 on theirs. All of our shows ranked higher than our the competition.
Great point.
So that's what matters.
This is a great line for your Tinder bio. Tinder, just
get
on there. Top 14 mid-market midday show host. I mean, that comes with some class. 14.
Yeah. Text line said Drew was trying to get really emotional on us, and we interrupted him. Yeah, we weren't gonna do that today.
I was trying
Drew.
to say what the chest guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. One more time. Say nice things about us.
It doesn't matter whether it's small market, mid-market, national. Cody and Gold is a top-tier midday show. It doesn't matter what market, guys.
Yeah. Well, you contributed to this. You should just take the credit.
The ego in me, I guess, would, the small part that's there. But congratulations to you guys. And
it's a team, man. It's a full show.
People are loving the T-shirts, by the way. Lisa Kearney, we're going to have a video on social media with her. She's from KC, loves the Chiefs with FanDuel TV.
FanDuel, yeah.
She took a shirt. Obviously, Rick took one. People are loving the shirts. So,
do you think we could get our friends at Raygun to make a shirt that says Top 14 Mid-Market Midday Show? It's such a specific
it's very specific to not say, because it's not top 10. We're definitely not top. We are not top 10.
Barreling towards it, though, you know?
Barreling
towards it.
The text line wants
4 spots.
Text line wants to know if we got the official rankings on best-looking shows in the country. We haven't.
Informal.
We haven't. You know, we can look around a little bit. We can turn the video camera around. I think we're doing well in that category also. I think we might even rank higher in that compared to some others.
Agreed.
You know, especially in the midday slot.
Yeah, I think we looked through the list. I went through this list last year. We're definitely a top 10 best-looking midday.
So do you want me to go to find another mid-market table? So how does it feel to be the lesser attractive show in the country than our Cody and Gold?
They're going to be very confused is what
they would be
like,
very
We don't know what you're talking about. I'd be like, it's fine. This guy, Cody Tappy's come up with his own personal informal rankings of the most attractive mid-market midday shows, and he'd like your opinion on the rankings. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start coming out next year. Jason Barrett doesn't get to just own the rankings of sports hosts. I get to also judge them based on their attractiveness, including voting on myself and where we rank accordingly. We're not number one. I've seen there's some attractive shows out there.
It is very weird that twice we got a text. Other things that we are better than other. We can go through those at another day. Some of those are not appropriate for the air. If you want to have inappropriate conversations, then join us at our party tonight off air. And we will gladly have those with you at Circa. You need to come to Circa tonight if you're on your way to Vegas. Or look, maybe you're not in Vegas. That's all right. Maybe you know somebody that is. Let them know. 610 Sports Radio tonight at Circa's Stadium Swim. We'll be having a party with Chiefs fans from 5 to 9 Vegas time. We'll also be broadcasting from 5 to 7 Vegas time, so 7 to 9 back in Kansas City on 610 Sports Radio. Danan Hughes will have players-only show tonight at 6 o'clock. He also will be broadcasting from the party. The party goes till 9 Vegas time. Who knows? Probably going to go a little bit later than that as well. That's just what we're told to say 9. The party can go past 9 o'clock.
It's Las Vegas. It just gets started sometimes.
That's right. You can RSVP for free entry, okay? You can do that. You also can get a free drink ticket if you wear some Chiefs gear. So there you go. Put the link to register. Yeah, I think we have it on Twitter. We can put it again. If you search 610 Sports KC, you can check that out for those of you asking.
Well, we'll get it up there again just in case you might have missed it. I understand you want to make sure you get there. And someone said the percentage I said for Jefferson, 15% off. Relax. 15. 15% off. Go get yourself some wings. Get yourself some corn nuggets. Get yourself set up for the game.
Corn nuggets. I have not had those.
Corn nuggets are incredible.
Fantastic, man. Great appetizer.
I'll get them as fries instead of.
This is an unpaid endorsement. Great appetizer at Jefferson's. I'm just going to say it.
Can I get them as a side, or is it just the appetizer?
I mean, instead of fries?
No, the corn nuggets are not a side. You have to order. They are an item. Anyway.
They're like a dish.
Yeah.
They're kind of like an appetizer. He's asking, could I get them as a side instead of French fries or something?
Cool.
Maybe. I don't want to speak on that behalf.
All right, coming up next, we'll get to the random question of the day, and if not, we'll do a little trash today. We haven't done a whole lot of that this week. Things are busy, so let's get to that. Plus, more on what Trey Wingo had to say around Harrison Butker and how big of a factor that could actually be.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
Clear.
Live from Radio Row in Las Vegas. Presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend. And save $3 off any large or family-size pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. 610 Sports Radio.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over the way. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
Football plus bowling plus bar equals Bowling Warehouse, Kansas City. Come take your best shot at KC's newest, funkiest sports entertainment venue off 435 and State Line. Bowling Warehouse is a mashup of football and bowling, drinks and fun. Guys, girls, anyone can play. Come learn about bowling, the bonkhorn, and the rules that keep you on your toes and play the game that's sweeping across America. Bowling Warehouse is the place to host private and corporate events. Bowling Warehouse, you have to see it for yourself on 435 and State Line.
We'll buy your car for its original base MSRP when you upgrade to a new or used car at Volkswagen Lease Summit. Only deducting for mileage, manufacturer incentives, and any damage. Your car is worth thousands more than you think. Cash in today. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
2012 and newer. See dealer for details.
This Valentine's Day, choose Smokehouse Barbecue and enjoy their Hogs and Kisses dinner for two. An appetizer, a platter with baby back ribs, pork spare ribs, bone-in chicken, burnt ends, pulled pork, 3 sides, and a dessert to share for $55.95. Make a reservation now at any of their 3 locations in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence. You can also ship Smokehouse to anyone nationwide at SmokehouseBBQ.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And if you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W, or 2, or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win the Super Bowl, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob. And make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas, $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas on an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet? Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgift.com.
Before Keller. After Keller. May I have your attention for an important announcement? In industrial plants and processing plants, worker safety requires clear communication. Keller Fire and Safety installs and maintains state-of-the-art industrial mass notification systems to cut through the noise without blaring. So when an important announcement or emergency alert is made, employees hear every word clearly. Better call Keller.
Keller Fire and Safety. KellerFire.com.
Just a black coffee, please. Whoa, who are you?
I'm Cupid. Wings didn't give it away, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Got some Valentine's advice for you.
Well, what is it, Cupid?
Well, since Valentine's Day is just a few days after the big game, get the pregame going at Hellsberg Diamonds. Make her heart flutter with diamond bands, pendants, huggy hoops, and more. Up to 50% off.
Man, great call, Cupid.
This ain't my first love rodeo, kid. Head to a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com today.
It's a new year, and Trailside RV Center on I-70 in Green Valley has the Jayco RV of your dreams. Trade-in values are high, and the 2024 financing rates say it's time to buy at Trailside RV. Go to trailsiderv.com and check out our prices now.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
The Solo Stove Smokeless Burning Question of the Day. Ahead of Sunday's big game, the burning question on everyone's mind is, can Kansas City slow down San Francisco's running game? San Francisco has an MVP caliber running back and wide receivers that can all break off big runs. San Francisco's versatility allows them to run the ball effectively in multiple ways. Today's Smokeless Burning Question is presented by Solo Stove. Feel the heat of the world's most popular smokeless fire pit. Solostove.com. The Sultan of Sizzle, the Titan of Toastiness, the Kingpin of Kindling. These are the admired ones, those who've created the prime place to gather. They don't just have a backyard, they have the backyard, because they know a Solo Stove fire pit is more than just the ultimate smokeless fire pit. It's a place where friendship, football is revered, and food is enjoyed. Solo Stove, the perfect flame for the big game.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
10 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro, or shop online at gomers.com.
Gomer's has all you need to celebrate the big game this Sunday. Voted KC's #1 liquor store, we strive to be the best in price, selection, and service. With 5 locations in the KC Metro, or shop online at gomers.com.
Back inside here at Mandalay Bay, that's where Radio Row is. Cody and Gold, Super Bowl week, and one of our friends that works with Creed Humphrey. Hashtag Creed is good.
I need him to get those snaps up, so hashtag Creed is good can live forever.
I'm surprised you didn't try to ask him, because you, on opening night, you asked Creed Humphrey if Cody went up to Creed Humphrey.
We haven't played that audio yet.
But Cody went up to Creed Humphrey on Monday night. We were all talking to players, and he asked Creed if he should get some royalties from the success that he's having through marketing. And Creed, what did Creed say? We'll have to talk about it or something?
He said, you do probably deserve it. Then I said, it could be a percentage of a percentage. And he said, we'll work something out. That implies to me that,
Well, you just had his marketing guy. We could have asked. You should have negotiated. That was not good on your part. You could have negotiated, man.
Do you need an extra person only working for Creed? And can I get a small cut? Would have certainly got there.
Something
I do
like
see
that.
on the text line, too, from the 702, have you guys seen the video of Jason Kelsey hitting on 18 and actually hitting a 3? I did. He was there with Tom Segura and a couple of other, I think Burt Kreitchard and a bunch of these other guys. He hit on 18, hit a 3, which is a great thing to point out. If you haven't watched the video, you've had a chance to watch it, and you can go see how the results actually went. We took, snuck a little video from inside the casino and everything. But we all took a challenge last night.
We did.
We said, hey, $100. Drew ended up doing 50, which we respect. You and I took $100. Drew took 50. 30 minutes. You had to play for the full 30 minutes. Who could win money based on this? And the results were Drew played for 7 minutes and lost all 50. You made it to 17 minutes, which, by the way, in retrospect on the video, we recorded this in order. I said someone's probably only going to – I said you can't just play for 17 minutes, then win the money, and then just quit. I couldn't believe I guessed the amount of time you played. It just went the other way. You lost the full 100.
Yes.
I played for the full 30 minutes and 190.
You did. You made the smart decision to start playing blackjack. I played roulette. It serves me right for playing a little roulette.
I like playing roulette. I want to play this weekend. I don't know when it's going to be.
Yeah, have better luck than last night.
Dude, I've never. That was really horrid luck. So that was after the video, by the way.
Yeah,
separate from the other thing. Gold went back to the tables a little.
We talk about craps on the show a few times, and you usually to get going, you got it. So I'll play pass line. So then you get the first roll, and so then you put your odds down on top of that, and then you put, let's say, the button's on 8, so then I put a little money on 6, and so ideally so you might have, depending on what you're playing, you might have $40 out there, 50 or more, whatever, and of course 2 times in a row the person crapped out on the first roll, and so that was a quick. I didn't even get.
You didn't even see what it was like.
Tease me a little bit. Give me
a
my
chance
goodness.
to win or lose some money.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, that was a brutal stretch. The other one was just you were playing roulette. Numbers were around. You were down about half your stack.
Yeah.
Then you rebounded back to the full stack.
Yeah.
And then things went poorly.
That's gambling. We're describing gambling here. That's what we've done. We've accomplished
in
the last couple minutes. We've described gambling.
I don't know why anybody hasn't warned me that gambling is risky and that you might lose.
Yeah, it turns out.
Up to this point, I don't know why anyone didn't tell me that.
That's what happens when
on the trip so far. I'm up like 120. Not bad, but I'm going to risk all of that. I'll just be very clear. There are way too many days less in Vegas not to have me risk that amount of cash.
Yeah, managed to give some of the money back from the under on the Vegas Golden Knights game that we had on Tuesday night. But we are in Vegas on Radio Row thanks to our friends at Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend. Save $3 off any large or family-sized pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Reminder what we still have planned today guest-wise, and who knows who else will stop by, but Tony Pollard, starting running back of the Dallas Cowboys, is going to join us around 1:45. And then a little bit earlier than that, we're also expected to have Chase Daniel here in about 20 minutes or so, former Missouri Tiger, former Chiefs backup quarterback, now does NFL Network work, among other avenues and outlets. So looking forward to having Chase on the show. Maybe we'll even talk a little college with him.
We were mentioning earlier, I told you I think Chris Jones is going to have a massive game. And I know I've said that a few times this year.
Yes.
But sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he's kind of quiet. He has his up and down Chris Jones games. I think this is a big one. But I think there's a player on the defensive line who's just as important, and it's George Karlaftis. Trey Wingo said it. And it's hard because you don't want to undersell an injury. Losing Charles Omenihu is big. I don't think he's just being brash. I mean, he's probably being a little brash. But when he was talking about it, he's like, I want people to remember I was great this year. I played great this year. Omenihu's right. He did play great, Gold. He managed to get 7 sacks in 11 games this year. He was a really important play on the defensive line, which means George Karlaftis has to help fill that absence. I can't put that on Dana or Turk Wharton or FAU as nearly as much as George Karlaftis, who is now in his second season, full season. He's become one of their most important defensive players, and he is a double-digit sack guy. So you can put those kind of expectations on him now. I wouldn't have done this in the postseason last year. I asked somebody else to step up. This year, I think it's more than fair to ask that of George Karlaftis.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the position that he's put himself in with his own play, too, mind you. It's not even from the outside. He has performed at such a high level that now he's one of those players that you feel like you can count on putting together the type of performances that you need in big-time moments. And it also is the trickle-down effect, I should say, for going forward into 2024 even, and how we'll be talking about this defensive front potentially. You know, the idea that he potentially could be the biggest name/leader on the defensive line next year if Chris Jones is gone. Karlaftis would be in year 3 at that point in time. Yeah, Omenihu would be here, but unfortunately the timing of the torn ACL for Charles Omenihu, he might not be available for half the season, or we don't know the injury timeline yet, but he's not going to be ready on opening kickoff, we don't think. Hopefully it's that Thursday night game.
But I really hope, because look, I wouldn't blame you lost the game, because I'm not going to say that. I'm not making that argument, but it would suck, dude. It would suck for this to be a Super Bowl that was like the Tampa Bay Bucs one, in which we feel like injuries were a reason that contributed to the loss. And it wouldn't be hard to get that leap. They're missing, maybe based on the way they've been playing, their second or third best they're probably their third best defensive lineman this year, Chris Jones, Karlaftis, and then Omenihu, and the best left guard in football. It would stink if we walked out as a bit, boy, Allegretti got abused, and they didn't have the pass rush that we are used to because they didn't have the third name that would be in there, I just think that would – I would never blame the loss based on those two injuries versus when they were just missing their entire offensive line. But I can't pretend like that can't be a factor, or it might not be a factor in a game that we think could be a razor's edge, one way or the other. The difference could be that a Minnie Hughes not available.
It could.
And might have gotten a sack, or that Allegretti got beat a few times too many. And I hate for it to come down to that.
It could, and Trey Wingo joined us, and he was talking about Harrison Butker in the kicking game. And these are the type of games where truly the performance from your kicker, and by the way, Chiefs have the edge there, no question. Harrison Butker, the best kicker in football this year, as far as I'm concerned. I know Justin Tucker still exists, but I mean that is, to me, one aspect that could set up. There's even some betting angles for potentially a game-winning kick or something. Like, I know that's going to be stressful, but last year we know Harrison Butker was money for this team in the playoffs after having some struggles in the regular season, and Harrison Butker has been money throughout this entire season and has come up with some big-time kicks. So I could see it coming down to Jake Moody and Harrison Butker. If we both think it's a low-scoring game, what's to say that actually wouldn't be in play as well? And so that puts a little more emphasis on that.
I absolutely. By the way, you want to talk? We talk about like the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy, or the difference between the weapons for the 49ers and the Chiefs. There is a sizable gap between Jake Moody and Harrison Butker. Harrison Butker's been the best kicker in the league. Jake Moody's made 50% of his postseason kicks. He's hitting 50-50 for the postseason. He's missed, I think, 4 kicks this year, and I think he's only kicked 25. He's fine, I guess. He's not a great kicker, and he's kicked even worse in the postseason. Like, if it comes down to kicking, the Chiefs have a massive advantage in that department, and very well might. We might, I hope. Like, I think there's a chance. I think there's at least a 15% chance, Gold, that, I get, like, Monday we're just going to be like, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, but there'll be a chance that we'd be like, wow, it really just came down to having a good kicker versus not. Boy, that's a relief. The difference between having a good kicker and not having a good one, turns out that might have been one of the bigger differences in the game. It might rank second. It has a chance to rank as the second or third most important thing in the game. I don't know that it will, but I'm just, it has an opportunity to do so. I do think kicking may play a real factor here. There's no doubt.
That'll make for a stressful one for everybody in Kansas City and anywhere watching the game on Sunday. Let's get to the random question of the day.
We're sure if you were going to say trash of the day?
I'll be honest.
Question?
Neither was I.
You were like, you teased trash of the day. I'm like, are we doing random question?
Well, I teased random question of the day, and I said, maybe we'll do trash of the day. And so that was in between.
Both are open possibilities.
I can do a trash of the day too.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Over on the text line, 913-586-7610. Of course, on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, as the stream slowly starts to struggle a little bit based on the internet connection. But we'll be on there. Don't worry. The question I have for you last night comes via social media. This was a question asked on Radio Row to like a celebrity who's asking it. Gold, Drew, you have a choice. You can either accept a 30-day prison sentence, or
back to prison.
Or you can be stuck in jail with a Rubik's Cube and you're out when you solve it.
Oh, so back to this prison conversation for some reason.
This show talks about death in jail a lot.
Cody, I cannot figure out Rubik's Cubes.
So you're taking the 30?
I'm taking my 30 days. And you can say, oh, come on. No, guys.
I'm doing Rubik's Cube. 12 hours a day in the cell, dude? I
don't know if I would figure it out. That is not my brain doesn't work that way. I don't. Guys, there's a chance I could be in there for like 60. Yeah, like
or 45 days.
I can't risk the possibility of it taking 3 months. Now, do you think can I get help from the
You can't look up the internet, right? Like YouTube.
No, but can I trade, a bag of Doritos for help with my Rubik's Cube in prison?
No one is allowed to touch the Rubik's Cube but you.
Okay.
If you're asking for a little bit of advice, I'll give you your cellmate. Just you and random cellmate to be assigned. Could be a genius.
If I've got the cellmate, then we're good. I actually have confidence in a random stranger to help me out.
Versus yourself. You have more confidence in a random stranger to figure it out than yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
A Rubik's Cube.
One Rubik's. So if you get the cellmate, you'll take the Rubik's Cube. But if it were just you, you're eating the 30 days rather than going the other way. Drew?
If it's just me, I'm also eating the 30 days because
really, I'm doing the Rubik's Cube. I get out
Cody,
like 48 hours.
I've never solved one in my life, Cody.
If you can't solve it and you're doing it for, let's say, it's going to take you just 72 hours of you trying for 24 hours straight and not figuring it out for you to just go insane. And you're just going to give up, and you're just going to say, you know what, I'm going to take a break, and then all of a sudden it becomes 30 days.
There's somebody. I'm not taking a break. I'm getting out.
There's somebody listening.
You would go insane.
There's somebody listening that solved it multiple times. Is like, yeah, I'll be out in 60 seconds.
Correct.
I understand that. as Warren Sapp walks by. Good to see the former Tampa Bay Buck, who's now going to be on, Deion Sanders' coaching staff, right, for Colorado?
Is it important to mention him? Who was it who had the take this week that, I don't know what's going to happen in Vegas, but some player's going to be that's unfortunate for Warren.
Wow. Yeah, Cody, by the way, Cody says that as he's I don't know, 50 feet away, 100 feet away
well
already.
Beyond us.
Yeah, no chance of hearing. You should have said that right when he walked by. Like, well, I'm thinking of prison.
I had to think about it for just a second.
You know?
You thought Romanowski was going to come after you.
Well, Warren Sapp. I mean, he would obviously hurt me. There's no doubt about that. Romanowski, by the way, what a coward. What a coward. This man says he'd come on Radio Row. He said he's going to be in Vegas, and all of a sudden he's not. Must have listened to the show.
He didn't want the smoke.
He can't come fight me.
He didn't want the smoke.
That's it. Official. Bill Romanowski didn't want the smoke.
I want you to post a diss track now.
A diss track to Bill Romanowski? He might end up getting it. This man was talking like he was going to be in Vegas this whole time. His CTE brain couldn't even think it through. This man couldn't even remember where he was going to be.
This is you saying this.
This
is you saying this.
Look, you want to bring up the steroid. I'm going to stay away from the brain injury stuff, but the
steroids?
The steroids, by all means.
His steroids, ear brain, can't
steroids are fair game. Absolutely fair game.
Goodness.
The only other random question I was going to bring up, I didn't know if you were, I was on in Chicago this morning, and I asked them the same question because it's something you and I were discussing. So for the sake of the question, let's assume
we had a choice.
The price is the same.
Okay.
And by the same, I mean free.
But let's just say they hold the same intrinsic value.
Tickets to Bill Burr, or should we go tickets to see Luke Combs at the Cosmo on Saturday night? Both were options. Cody and I selected Luke Combs. I also...
Is it because you just watched him perform Fast Car with Tracy Chapman at the Grammys?
I also think it should be a better show. I like Bill Burr, but look, we were an option. I also wasn't going to leave Cody out to dry because I perhaps was only going to be able to get one ticket to Burr. I got 2 tickets to
very kind of you.
The Luke Combs concert. So the question, I guess, which one would you have chosen?
And
would you have also picked the one that allows you to take someone else?
Well, I think in this scenario, you're just asking, which one would you rather go to?
Yeah.
Bill Burr in Vegas or Luke Combs in Vegas?
Luke Combs, man. That's what we're doing. So
I would say a comedy show feels maybe more Vegas than just like a random concert, not like a show. But I think Combs is the choice. Bill Burr, I assume I could go see his show in Kansas City once a year for the next 15 years. Luke Combs would probably come to Kansas City, right? I'm not saying he won't, but he's at the height of his popularity. Like, this is the maximum popular he will ever probably be as an artist. Maybe not, but I mean, this is his. I mean, I would assume this is going to be
he's at the top right now.
Yeah.
Amongst the top 5.
It was an easy decision for me. Like, it was very easy to do. And I like stand-up comedy. We've talked about this on the show. So does Cody and all that. Like, But Luke Combs, it is going to be a sold-out show. It's in Vegas. It's Super Bowl weekend. We did look at what the ticket prices were. It's a nice event to go to.
You get to hear Beer Never Broke My Heart, and you get to turn up a little bit.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. I know like 4 Luke Combs songs. That's it. Like 4.
Beer Never Broke My Heart is probably the most.
Fast Car, they'll probably wait till the very end to sing it. But you know what? Sure. And I know, like, technically that's not his song. It's Tracy Chapman. I understand.
I would take Bill Burr. I've never seen. I don't
even like country music, and I only know that one Luke Combs song. And
you might recognize a couple others though.
You think there's another?
I think you might recognize a few. I think there's like 2 or 3 that everybody. I think there's like 2 or 3 that. Look, I'm terrible with.
I've
song
heard in the
names.
grocery store, that kind of thing.
I've never
heard
been
it played in a stadium or something.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
Yeah,
I've been to plenty of concerts live. I've never seen a stand-up comedy show live, so I think that would just to be able to experience it, I would want. That. Plus, I think Bill Burr's hilarious.
I've seen stand-up like 10 times, and it's just like bigger names. Like I've seen Jerry Seinfeld or Dave Chappelle or John. We were both at the John Mulaney.
It's a good name.
So like I've seen a few stand-up, and they're fun. They're a lot of fun.
It's all about your experience, I think. For me, I guess it makes more sense for me to do it because Combs is fine. I think Bill Burr's hilarious, and I've never been to a comedy show
Someone says neither.
Before.
They want to go see Carrot Top instead.
He's so looking rough. Oh, my goodness.
He looks worse than last year.
I
don't even know how that's possible. He somehow, in a calendar year, looks worse.
I think Andy brought him up in a...
Well, because Carrot Top was out opening night.
He was there asking a question.
That's where I saw Carrot Top, and he looks rough.
Pete Sweeney just sent me a text from media availability earlier today.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Creed Humphrey rocking the Blaine Gabbert jersey.
Yeah.
Guess maybe he's tired of getting asked other questions. It looks like it's actually Gabbert's jersey because it's fitting
A little snug?
It's been a little snug. It's been a little snug on our guy, Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, I think the only thing concert-wise, the one regret, if there's one regret so far on this trip, because I was very jealous. I saw photos and videos of it. Last night at the Sphere, U2 was performing, and I saw some other media members at the show, and seeing the setup inside, it looks incredible. Not just the outside, inside at a show.
I can't afford it.
Well,
I've seen videos.
U2 again Friday night if you want to go.
It's too expensive.
Well, I agree. We need a hookup on that. We need a hookup on that one. I don't have a hookup on that. But
U2. They performed in the Super Bowl.
Oh, it's been a long time. Yeah.
A while ago.
Someone said I'd take the Cougar over both shows. Oh, sure. I should invite.
You should have invited.
Sorry, Cody. I should invite her instead of Cody to the.
She'll come with you to Luke Combs' concert as your plus one.
She's probably got like a freaking VIP pass already based on how she was talking. Tonight
backstage.
there's the boxing match, and she's like, yeah, you guys are going to the after party. I'm like, yeah.
I guess let us know where it is.
It's the fight is here at Mandalay tonight. There's actually a pretty big boxing match tonight at Mandalay Bay. The Sphere tickets, are like $190 Friday night.
Wait, they're less than I was anticipating.
190?
Or what are you seeing? 118?
I mean, 118,
well,
150,
before fees.
Before fees, but like 150?
That's
Dude,
like
the Bill Burr tickets cost that much.
That's as much as going to
we could go
to the Golden Knights game.
We should sell our Luke Combs tickets.
Whoa,
we could go to Bill Burr.
Whoa.
We could go to Bill Burr and this for the same price. Those are given to us. We can't
I'm
sell
not
them.
selling tickets that I was kindly gifted. No.
I got to be honest. The Sphere tickets were cheaper than I thought. I thought that they were going to be like. I thought they were going to be like $500
we could go see U2 and go see Luke Combs this weekend and the Super Bowl. Sounds like a pretty good weekend to me.
I wonder if Chase Daniel would have a particular. I feel like he would be a Combs guy.
We'll ask him. He's gonna join us coming up next. As a matter of fact, as we continue broadcasting live here from Radio Row, our big game coverage brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union, proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card at ChiefsChecking.com. So as I mentioned, Chase Daniel will join us, former Chiefs backup quarterback, former Missouri Tiger, and we'll also get into outside of Patrick Mahomes for this game. The age-old question of who has the most to gain with a win on Sunday.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
Clear.
From Radio Row in Las Vegas, presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend. And save $3 off any large or family-size pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. 610 Sports Radio. Big game coverage is brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card, at ChiefsChecking.com.
Get excited for Super Bowl 58 with Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. There is nothing better than getting together with your buddies with an ice-cold Bud Light beer. Stop by Buffalo Wild Wings for some refreshing Bud Light beers and some games Sunday, February 11th at 6 p.m. at 8441 Northwest Prairie View Road in Kansas City. Celebrate being part of the team with Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Gear up for the big game and save big at the pump this Thursday at Hy-Vee. For one day only, earn a 40-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $60 purchase. Stock up on everything you need for the perfect watch party. Delicious wings, take and bake pizza, party trays, chips and dip, decorated cookies, and authentic Chiefs apparel. Fill your cart before you fill your tank and save 40 cents a gallon with every $60 purchase. This Thursday only at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hey, it's Kling. Chiefs heading to the big game yet again. And don't forget, Hy-Vee has everything you need for the perfect watch party. Authentic Chiefs apparel for the whole family. Exciting new styles and designs arrive daily. Everything you need for game day. Party trays, delicious wings. I love the Chiefs-themed baked goods. And when we win that game, I'm headed to Hy-Vee the day after to score my Fuel Saver discount, equal to the points the Chiefs score at the big game, based on the amount I spend. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, it's Alex Gold for Midwest Marine Boat Company, inviting you to visit the largest indoor showroom in Kansas City for Midwest Marine's in-house sales event, happening February 13th through the 17th, featuring brands like Bennington, Crownline, Vexus, and Sea Arc. Huge savings on all remaining 2023 models, huge factory incentives and discounts, and take advantage of Midwest Marine's free storage and shrink wrap until April 30th. It's the huge in-house sales event at Midwest Marine Boat Company in Grandview.
The biggest winner in the big game could be you. Thanks to BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks is offering new customers a chance to score $158 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, instantly. Just download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code BETKC. Then place a $5 moneyline wager on the big game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. Don't miss your opportunity to cross the goal line on the money line as pro football's top teams clash for the championship. Can't be in Vegas for the big game? Then bring the big game excitement to you with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Pizza lovers, listen up. For the big game, Papa Murphy's has a super deal for 610 Sports Radio listeners. Order any large or family pizza online and get $3 off. That's right. Use promo code 610 and save $3 off your favorite pizza. Load it up just the way you want it. Order your delicious Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza in advance so it'll be hot and ready for the big game. That's $3 off any large or family-sized pizza for 610 listeners only. Order now at papamurphys.com and use promo code 610.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Gold at the Sportsbook, Drew at the roulette wheel, and we can't tell you where Cody is. Tune in all week long to Cody and Gold, live in Las Vegas, right here on 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, we're back here in Las Vegas, of course, on Radio Row. Thanks to our friends at Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend and save $3 off any large or family-sized pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance, an insurance company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Cody and Gold here for the final hour on a Thursday, and we're excited to have Chase Daniel joining us from NFL Network, of course, former Chiefs backup quarterback, former Missouri Tiger. I'm a KU guy, Chase, I'll be honest. I'm a KU guy.
Why would you tell him that right away?
I figured,
I'm sorry about that for you.
I'm sorry. I wanted to get it out of the way.
Yeah,
I just wanted to get out of the way. It's great to have you on,
probably
though,
just smell it on him a little bit, right?
I smell it Jayhawking.
That's right. We can talk a little college at some point as well, but just how things going for you, man. You're doing great work over at NFL Network.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, it's been a transition year for me, obviously not playing anymore, and just jumped right into NFL Network. Got 2 podcasts, one with Trey Wingo called Chasing It, the other with the Athletic football show, which has been great. And then started my whole YouTube channel with the quarterback breakdowns and stuff, and it's just gone crazy. So it's been a good year to just get a bunch of different tentacles out there and just sort of be home with my wife and 3 kids. We have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So we're right in the thick of it, and she spent most of the last 6 years dealing with that on her own. So it's been good to be able to be a father, be present, coach my kids. I'm coaching football, basketball, baseball. I have no idea what I'm doing in basketball. whatsoever. But still staying a part of the game because it's important to me. And I've really enjoyed this sort of next step in my career.
I just like the idea that you're coaching basketball. Just block out.
I mean,
rebound.
literally, I'm just like, we have some good athletes. I'm like, just shoot the ball and play good defense. Like, I'm just my only thing I say on defense is like, hands up. Just get your hands up. That's all.
Does your team have, so like my kids, I've got a 7 and a 5-year-old, and they've obviously played youth sports. And then there's always some kid at like even 6 that's just essentially Messi or LeBron. You're like, what's this kid like? Dunking it at 6?
We have those guys on our team.
Yeah, those teams are tough to play against. You're just like, what's happening here?
It's sort of crazy. Like Preston is his name, and just to see his friend group, like they play baseball together. I coach them in football together, and now like no other parent wanted to step up. So now I'm coaching basketball, and it's been fun. It's been really cool.
Is it weird being on the other side? Do you feel bad for all the coaches you maybe have been like, hey, I don't like the way this is going?
Yeah,
right
I would say like I'm pretty chill unless like the kid doesn't give good effort. Like I'm not really big into skills and stuff, and all I tell my kid, like my 6-year-old, is like attitude and effort. That's really all I care about. If I'm not trying to teach them how to throw a football exactly right, and so I'm like, I don't care about that. Just have fun, and your attitude and effort are the biggest things.
Las Vegas, I know now you mentioned you got kids and all that, but the fact that this game is in Vegas, do you sense a little more energy around this thing?
Totally. Like even the last 2 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls from post-COVID, I feel like have been a little bit below energy level. But when you come here to Vegas, it feels like it's fully back. I mean, this Radio Row is one of the bigger ones I've seen.
Yes.
And you know, I don't know if you guys remember the Super Bowl back in New York a little while ago, but it was in New York City, right? And Super Bowl's a spectacle, but it's New York City. And I felt like the Super Bowl atmosphere got sort of eaten up by the city itself. And I was wondering coming here in Vegas if that was going to be the same. But I think Vegas has done such a phenomenal job of everywhere you walk, everywhere you look, it is Super Bowl. And so that's what I was interested about. The traffic's awful. First of all,
it's not
the longest lights.
The longest lights ever, and that's just part of the deal. But I do love how it's just like right on one street. It's right on one strip. Everywhere you can possibly go, you see people that you know that you play with. So it's been cool for us to get back here, especially just from a fellowship standpoint with these ex-players that I play with, or these coaches or network people that I've dealt with. So it's been really cool.
You mentioned the quarterback breakdown on YouTube. Brock Purdy right now, obviously he wasn't supposed to be at this stage of his career. Where does he compare to the development or the level he is at executing the quarterback position, maybe to other quarterbacks in the league? Like, what is he like? What level is he at now?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think his play this past year has really gone up, and he's reached that next level of to where, you know, maybe last year, his 9 games that he played, and even a little bit of beginning this year, he was making throws, but not at the level where he's making throws right now. So he's constantly evolving his game, and a lot of people are going to say, well, look at who he has, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, CMC. I'm like, that's great, but he really has made all the throws. I mean, you look at throws over 10 yards down the field, he's number 1 in almost every single category possible. So he's not only just like taking what's there, they're throwing the ball deep down the field. Now, they haven't really faced a pass defense like the Kansas City Chiefs, top 5 defense. Jerry Sneed, all these guys, his linebackers are playing excellent. Nick Bolton, I think, is playing well, and then Drew Tranquill had his best game of the year 2 weeks ago in the AFC Championship game. So it's going to be a difficult task, and I'm going to be interested to see how Steve Spagnuolo specifically targets the right side of that offensive line for the 49ers, because they have not been good. They're like 30th in pressure rate given up on both sides. So whether it's Chris Jones on that side and George Karlaftis, whether it's an overload front, whether it's pressure, whether it's double-edged pressure, it's going to be interesting to see Steve Spagnuolo's first 15 on defense.
We're talking to Chase Daniel here on Cody and Gold. Our guests are brought to you by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. You mentioned Drew Tranquill. Obviously, you guys spent some time together. We had a chance to talk to him over at opening night as well. There's a chance that in the Brett Veach era, he might be one of, if not the best free agent signing. I mean, what a steal on a 1-year deal. I mean, you were a teammate of his, so what's he like? I mean, he decides to leave L.A. to win a Super Bowl, and here he is.
Well, and honestly, I don't even know if they're paying him over $3 million.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
A steal like that,
team.
a day 2 or day 3 guy free agent. And I was a little surprised when he wasn't like sort of sought after, because I'm thinking, hey, first of all, you're a great leader. Second of all, you are a 3-down linebacker. You truly can play base and nickel, and has a knack for making plays. Might not be the biggest, might not be the fastest, but he's always around the ball. He studies a lot of film. Really well liked in the locker room, and I just love the fact that he sent out the text message conversation between him and Andy Reid. I thought that was awesome. Like, see red, let's win some Super Bowls. And look, we know him really well. Like Hillary's dad, my wife's dad, is a real estate developer in KC area, and so they showed him around all the houses. So like we've known them. They bought a house there. Like they love it there, and it's just been a really cool thing for me to see him, especially just like be able to take his game to the next level, because Willie Gay's been out, Nick Bolton's been out. They've all missed time, so he sort of had to step up in big spots, worn the green dot, the communication for a couple of times as well, and now you see him play probably the game of the year. In my opinion, he was all over the field versus that Ravens. Let's see if he can keep it up.
What's the balance? Andy obviously knows what he's doing, but what's the balance between overthinking what is a game plan that works, right? Because you've got 2 full weeks. Because I imagine in Andy's case, he's always looking for like the one edge.
Yeah.
Spags is going to be looking for the one edge against Brock Purdy. How do the Chiefs, even though they're used to this, balance that, hey, let's not over-prepare versus trust your gut?
Well, I
it's
think
gotten us this far.
Yeah, and I think what you said, like, they're used to it. That matters. Super Bowl experience matters in games like this, especially not necessarily from a field perspective, but the whole week leading up to it, the week of Super Bowl. Like, they installed their entire game plan last week. So they came here ready to rock and roll. And, of course, there's going to be some changes and stuff added last minute, but 95% of their game plan was put in KC. And so I think that's what really was an awesome job by Andy and staff, being able to do that and then get into this week ready to roll. And I think that's the biggest thing that you haven't seen Andy. Like, he's not trying to reinvent the wheel. Other than like these green dot plays, which he calls them like new plays added to a game plan, maybe he has like 10 to 12 a game. The rest of it's stuff they run all year long. They're going to formate it differently. They're going to personnel-wise, it's going to be different. But you're going to see a lot of the same plays, and I think that just allows their players to play fast.
One thing before he lets you go, we were having a debate earlier. Luke Combs concert, if you got free tickets to that, or Bill Burr, where are you going?
I think I would pick Luke Combs.
That's okay. That's what we're doing. So
I think I'd pick Luke Combs. I mean, the dude is on fire right now.
He is.
Would you also, seeing how you pointed out, you threw the first ever touchdown pass to Travis Kelce, what percentage of his career would you like credit for?
Just the very start. Just the very start, getting him on the map. That's it. And, I still remember it was like yesterday. We were in a trips bunch formation. The play was called Madden, like you're playing Madden. It's just 4 verticals, and he just outran a safety. He outran a safety to the end zone. I just remember the first person he came up to on the field was a trainer that helped him rehab his injury back in 2013, just gave him a hug, like awesome. And I think we saw then, like him breaking away from a safety, like he was going to be special.
God, he's such a good player. It's a little unfair, and he's playing at this level again. So.
Well, and the consistency at which he's played throughout his entire career has been insane.
I know you might not want to give a prediction, but let's go ahead and give it a shot, right? Spice and Foods, the official sauces of Kansas City. How do you think the game goes?
I just think, in general, it's hard to bet against that man right there, Patrick Mahomes. He's looking right at me on this Super Bowl banner. And just Super Bowl experience and just – look, their defense, the Chiefs' defense, has been playing excellent all year long. And I finally feel like these past 3 games, the Chiefs have really stepped up on offense. And they've really been very well balanced. I think through 3 games in the playoffs, the Chiefs have only thrown the ball 12 or 13 more times than they've run the ball. That's going to be a big key for them to just not, hey, Mahomes, you don't need to do it all, but when Superman comes and you need Superman's cape, he's going to come out.
Chase Daniel from NFL Network, of course, former Chiefs quarterback, Missouri Tiger. We'll see what happens in college football next year. I think both schools are going to have fantastic seasons. Looking forward to it. Thanks,
okay,
Chase.
Thanks for having me.
There you go. Chase Daniel here on Radio Row in Las Vegas. Our big game coverage brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Community America Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get your Chiefs checking account, including the exclusive Chiefs debit card, at chiefschecking.com.
I think that he's got the right idea, because I like hearing that from a player, because we say it sometimes and it always just sounds a little different. It's like, what do you want me to do, bet against that guy? And then earlier when Trey Wingo was talking, he was like, that guy scares the hell. Like when he was talking about Patrick Mahomes, that guy scares the hell out of me. That's how I would feel. Mm-hmm. It'd be hard. I think as a defensive player, it's actually, that's the better way to treat it than, oh no, I'm going to get him. No. Properly fear the man. You should be terrified.
Sure.
And you should play in a way that like respects what he can do against you. Rip your heart out, as Trey Wingo said earlier. You should think that that's a possibility.
I also kind of liked hearing, Chase there was talking about Drew Tranquill. And they know each other well. You could tell based off of how he was talking about it. But I liked hearing it because Drew Tranquill's on a 1-year deal. And it's such a team-friendly deal. It turned out to be a great signing. I think they got a chance to bring him back. He's going to need to be more compensated next season if he's back in Kansas City or anywhere. But I love hearing where Chase brought up, that sounds like from a off-the-field family perspective that they absolutely love Kansas City. That matters, man. And he might be getting a ring, too. That also helps in a big, big way.
Well, with Willie Gay's contract possibly coming off the books, because I don't think – I'm not ruling it out, but it feels like, that's the kind of player that maybe you move on from and look for a different linebacker. Tranquil filled in for Bolton when he was gone, and Gay he was gone, and played both roles. So if you think that's the case, well, then you should be able to cover that a little bit. Bring in another young linebacker, let that unit roll together as a group, and take a chance that you can find one more guy who can play that position. I'm kind of with you. I mean, the way he was talking about it, you're like, maybe Tranquil likes it enough here that he's thinking about staying here in Kansas City long term. I'll just take a Super Bowl ring for him whether he stays or not.
Sure.
But I mean, that just goes back to the thing we said about Brett Veach. What an offseason from a everything but free agent wide receiver perspective. It doesn't have to be that important. But outside of that, Mike Edwards, Drew Tranquil, Charles Omenihu, and I know he's going to play in this game, but I mean, without those players, they are probably not in the Super Bowl. I know it's not as big of a factor as without Patrick Mahomes, but they needed that extra little bit, Gold, in order to get here, to be back here, to be in Vegas. You and I waiting for the Chiefs to play the Super Bowl, and now I guess 3 days? How's that work?
Yeah,
Do you count the day that it plays?
Sure, we'll call it 3. That's fine. Look, it's going to be here before we know it. The week, I don't know how it is for people back in Kansas City. Maybe it's one of those where the week's going by slow. It feels like it's going by quick. It's already Thursday, and the game will be here before we know it. We got a ton more to discuss before we get there. And don't forget tonight, if you are going to still somehow make a flight to Vegas, or if you're in Vegas and you're listening on the Odyssey app, or if you know someone that's going to be in Vegas tonight, we hope to see you out at Circa Stadium Swim. That'll be the place to be this evening from 5 to 9 Vegas time. From 7 to 9 KC time, though, you and I and Drew and other special guests maybe will be stopping by. Pete Sweeney, among others, will be doing a live show, a little Chiefs version of Cody and Gold After Dark. Players
Pete Sweeney's
only.
agreed to stop by. Maybe instead of a Perrier, you'll have a cocktail.
Players only, going to be on an hour before us, starting at 5 o'clock from Danan Hughes, all at Circa Sports. And it's free to enter as long as you RSVP. The links are on our social media accounts. If you need a direct link, text the show, and I'll get you a link. And if you wear some Chiefs gear, which you should be wearing anyway, you get a free drink ticket.
Someone's giving me a hard time because I'm not wearing Chiefs gear.
Today you're not.
Now.
Today you're wearing, not floral, but,
It's just a shirt.
Yeah.
It's just a regular
Just a
shirt. I brought some Chiefs gear, obviously. But, I mean, I wasn't planning on wearing Chiefs gear all 5 days here from Radio Row.
No, I went back to the hoodie because it's cold outside. That's all. And I got some Chiefs red underneath, but the Chiefs hoodie, we're covered. There's also the Taylor Swift shirt if you need to throw one of those on to feel better.
I think I'm going to wear that to the Luke Combs concert. I feel like that's just, that feels like the place to wear the Taylor Swift Loves Kansas City t-shirt. Those have remained very popular. If we had just let anybody who had asked for one of those ask for the shirt, Gold, I believe we would have been out by now.
I did get a photo of future Chiefs wide receiver here. I get the future Chiefs wide receiver, T. Higgins.
Mike Evans? T.
Higgins. Yeah. Drew, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Drew didn't just vanish. I give him credit. He could have just been following around T. Higgins the rest of the day. No, he has not.
Speaking of former Bengals wide receivers.
Oh, yeah?
What's the protocol here? I'm in the bathroom in the last break. Chad Ochocinco is in there. He is having I would describe it, medium volume, full-blown conversation standing at the urinal.
On the phone or with somebody else?
Phone. On the phone. You got to call him back, right? I mean, bathroom breaks got to wait.
Depends who he's talking to.
I mean, how
did he have the AirPod on at least, or did he have his hand on the phone?
Just hand on the phone.
Okay.
I mean, it was a full-blown conversation. I could tell you like 90% of what they were talking about based on the way it was going.
I mean, I guess you just don't care if you don't care,
You don't care if you don't care.
Now, better that than being, like, in a stall. No, I think if you're...
you think sitting on the toilet adds a different
way
element
worse.
of
Get
off the phone. Why? I mean, it could be quieter depending.
True. I think if you are in the actual stall, you can't be on the phone having a conversation. If you're standing up the urinal, it is,
There's other people around, man. We can all hear what's going on.
Yes, but he doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care.
He's not worried about the conversation.
I don't think he's worried one bit, man.
This essentially works as like a third random question for us today because, is this acceptable behavior? And I guess that's really the question.
Marcus Spears.
I assume that's who you're pointing at, but then I wanted to make sure. I was
Yeah,
like, okay.
that's
there's
what I'm
Marcus.
just pointing. People on video. The video they're on us, so they can't see everything. I guess if we turn on the guest cam again, you can see the different group of celebrities that are just walking by at times, and some media members that walk by. A lot more NFL players here today. We are expected, but right before we get off the air today, around 1:45 or so, hopefully it all times out, to have Tony Pollard, the starting running back of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm really excited to talk
If
to him.
not, ideally he's only running about 7 minutes late.
Yeah, we'll have it
and then
tomorrow.
we'll have that for you for the show tomorrow, obviously, because we'd love to have Tony Pollard on, especially because of the running backs in this.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco and Christian McCaffrey are both incredibly important for their teams this weekend. I understand why Christian McCaffrey would be more so. But, I mean, Pacheco, and we've talked about this, and Chase Daniels was talking about it, the amount the run-pass ratio in which they have operated in this postseason is different than their normal ratio by a pretty wide margin, they would normally pass at a 60-40 clip. They have been running at a 50-50 clip pretty much during this postseason run. So I'd love to talk to Tony Pollard about that and the run game for the Chiefs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Someone's asking if he washed his hands. He did.
Oh, that's a good, man.
He did wash his hands.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be happy to know Chad Ochocinco is a
I'll be
hand
honest,
washer
that's not always
and thorough hand washer. I would say that was at least a 30 Mississippi. Like, he really held his hands under the water.
That's good to know, since, I don't know, everybody that comes to our table and vice versa, everybody shakes everybody's hand. Think about that. Yeah,
that does feel – that's a good point.
You don't know where.
Rex Hudler has a stance on that. He doesn't shake anyone's hand.
Probably smart.
Because he's talking about, like, in these autograph things, like, oh, people be picking their ass, walking up there. It's like, no way. Not doing that. That's how he described it to me.
You went to the ultimate extreme.
That's
of
what
that.
Rex Hudler – this is a direct quote from Rex Hudler I'm giving you. This is what he told me about why he doesn't shake hands with people very often. He doesn't trust them in their cleanliness standards. You know what? I think next year, I've decided.
Okay.
If next year we're once again here at Radio Row, which seemingly is an annual occurrence, I think we need to play a social media game in which we take a photo and we say, who is this? Because there's plenty of people where I'm like, you're probably an athlete, and there's a good chance you're famous, but I'm having to think way too hard about who you are as a person just based on your face.
Well, then you're not that famous.
No, but sometimes it's just like athletes are hard to recognize when they're football players or baseball players sometimes because you're not used to seeing their face enough to be like, I think I know who that person is, but I'm not 100% who that person is. Like you said, hey, that's Austin Eckler earlier, and I had to think for a second. I'm like, is it? And you were like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Austin Eckler.
Absolutely.
Even you weren't
he
saying
was wearing
it with
a
like
DQ shirt. He's doing something for Dairy Queen.
But it was Austin. But I had to think about it.
Austin Eckler also, another guy to keep an eye on free agency this next offseason.
If it was cheap enough. Yeah. If he's cheap enough, I'm interested. Right? But that's just the case. The text line's a mess right now.
Oh, it's all. It is all. You're the.
I opened this door.
You brought up Ochocinco standing at a urinal talking on the phone, and then we got into hand washing and all that kind of stuff. And what do you expect is going to happen at that point?
I understand.
Do you think you could convince someone you were famous? Like if we got you dressed up in a little nicer clothes and we just had 10 people willing to walk behind you, everybody would and think you actually are.
If one person had a clipboard with times on it, yes.
We just fake book you. Like we have a one-sheeter that claims you're this famous YouTuber or whatever.
He used to be a YouTuber or TikTok
this is
Nobody's ever going to know.
This is Cody whatever. And yeah, he's got a million followers on YouTube. We'd love to have him
famous on
come
TikTok.
Yeah, and be like, sure. And we got like 8 handlers behind you.
Just find me one person on YouTube or TikTok that kind of looks like me, and we can purport to be them on there. Just find me one, and again, we'll make the same deal. If we go to Radio Row again next year, we'll do that. Speaking of celebrities, I think that's Pete Sweeney. I don't want to say for sure.
Oh, it is.
But
I recognize that
it's
guy.
It's hard sometimes.
He's all suited up. Yeah, we don't need to have to guess who that is.
Wearing a suit? He's a fancy boy.
Fancy day for Pete Sweeney. Definitely.
He's got to cover the team. He actually has to put that stuff on. It's a slightly different vibe than us. We don't have – hold on. Let me turn the cameras around there, Pete.
Pete Sweeney blocking Jeff Schwartz, who just walked by. Former Chief Jeff Schwartz.
Pete could do that. Now, see, look. Now he's on the camera.
We actually have to get an early break. We got a longer break. We do need to get an early
Pete,
break.
say something really profound in the next 10 seconds.
Oh, man. All right. Chiefs, 24, 9 or 17.
There it is. Pete Sweeney. I don't have to give the tagline for that one. Thank you, Pete. We'll see you later on tonight at our party over at Circa. Up next, we'll get you caught up on what's trending, and we're expected to be joined by the starting running back of the Dallas Cowboys, Tony Pollard, to get his perspective on Isaiah Pacheco and Christian McCaffrey heading into the game.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, live from Radio Row in Las Vegas, presented by Papa Murphy's. Order online for the big game this weekend. And save $3 off any large or family-size pizza with promo code 610. And by Shelter Insurance.
You guys are clear.
Company you can trust. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. 610 Sports Radio.
I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit. During our cash-in sale, we're offering you the most cash for your trade and the lowest prices Volkswagen has to offer.
We'll buy your car for its original base MSRP when you upgrade to a new or used car at Volkswagen Lease Summit. Only deducting for mileage, manufacturer incentives, and any damage. Cash in today. Plus, we have leases starting at $239 a month or rates as low as 1.9% for 48 months.
Turn your car into cash. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
Financing through VCI on approved credit. Call 816-841-7383 for details.
Make Gates Barbecue your go-to for the Big Game Watch Party. Whether you're the host or a guest, the Big Game Watch Party won't be complete without Gates Barbecue sauce and seasonings. Gates seasonings go great on popcorn as a fun topping for dips or sprinkle on chips for that extra flavor pop. Nothing says the big game like a Gates party tray. Stop by any of their 5 locations and pick up one. You'll be the hit of the party. Spice up your big game watch party with Gates Barbecue. Gates Barbecue, a Kansas City tradition.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Wholesale batteries for all your battery needs. Motorcycle, ATVs, lawn and garden tractors, power sport, boats, jet skis, and RVs. Kansas City, visit Wholesale Batteries now for all your battery needs. Wholesale Batteries, the right battery the first time.
It's a new year, and Trailside RV Center on I-70 in Green Valley has the Jayco RV of your dreams. Trade-in values are high, and the 2024 financing rates say it's time to buy at Trailside RV. Go to trailsiderv.com and check out our prices now.
Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Paid for, simulated client portrayal.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. No matter how you've been injured, my law firm is here to help.
Mike and his team handle all kinds of cases.
Car and truck wrecks, workers' comp claims,
slip and fall accidents, product liability, any kind of case. Mike's got this.
No matter what kind of injury case you have, I promise we can help. Call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
It's touchdown, Kansas City for homeowners. When you sell your home as is, in any condition, to RexBuysKC.com. This is Mitch Holter's voice of the Chiefs. And now, sell your home to Rex. No matter the condition or situation, with closing details designed to fit your schedule, needs, and wants.
Thanks, Mitch. This is Rex, owner of RexBuysKC.com, your local home buyer. We offer instant cash offers on the first visit. We pay you more. We give you unlimited options on how to sell your home as is with no out-of-pocket repair cost, no closing cost, fees, or commissions, and will close in as little as 7 days. Call now at 816-330-6000 or go online to RexBuysKC.com.
Rex will buy your home for more with huge cash offers, fair and honest dealings, and options that make selling your home quick and hassle-free.
Homeowners, call now, 816-330-6000 or go online at RexBuysKC.com.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
The biggest winner in the big game could be you. Thanks to BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks is offering new customers a chance to score $158 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, instantly. Just download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code BETKC. Then place a $5 moneyline wager on the big game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. Don't miss your opportunity to cross the goal line on the money line as pro football's top teams clash for the championship. Can't be in Vegas for the big game? Then bring the big game excitement to you with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit GetJim.com.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro or shop online at Gomers.com.
Gomer's has all you need to celebrate the big game this Sunday. Voted KC's #1 liquor store, we strive to be the best in price, selection, and service. With 5 locations in the KC Metro or shop online at Gomers.com.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number 1 on What's Trending, Alex Gold has not returned to the table here on Radio Row. Drew's going to have to fill in for him, at least in the brief moment. He thought he had enough time in the break. That's okay. That's on Alex. We'll get him back here in just a minute. The Chiefs currently back at practice. Their final media availability today over at their facility at Lake Las Vegas. Travis Kelce spoke to the media, said that the practice on Wednesday that we heard from got a little bit chippy, but that the both sides, the offense and the defense, are obviously incredibly motivated heading into this game. We could see at least that end of it. No more updates on the injury front. They obviously activated Sky Moore off of the return list yesterday. Doesn't mean he'll play coming up on Sunday. Joe Thuney still thought to be a long shot possibility for the Super Bowl, so we'll have to see which way that goes here moving forward.
Number two on What's Trending. The NBA trade deadline is today. A lot of trades. I mean, it's hard to keep up with it.
Drew.
Buddy Hield is leaving the Pacers. The Bucks are getting Pat Bev. Gordon Hayward from alma mater at Butler is going to Oklahoma City. Many other trades going on in the NBA today.
There you go. That's a good one. NBA trade deadline's nuts, by the way.
Yeah, no,
it's
so hard to keep up.
Yeah, almost impossible. It's not like the NFL trade deadline. It's not like Major League Baseball trade deadline. There's just so much more action in the NFL just moving across the board. Next up on What's Trending, Adolis Garcia and the Texas Rangers have agreed on Thursday to avoid arbitration on a 2-year, $14 million contract, according to multiple reports. You might remember he was the ALCS MVP for what eventually became the World Series champion. He's obviously due up for a pretty good payday coming up here in a couple of years, but has yet to get his payday, at least to this point. We'll see where that contract goes. But at least before the arbitration deadline, they moved on from there. That's What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. We'll get Alex's mic turned on. Drew, pinch hit for you.
Got stuck in what's the correct word? The thrall of people around Coach Prime and Deion Sanders on the way back.
Thrall? Oh, so you couldn't get through.
Correct. I got a photo, though. I put it on Twitter.
I see.
But yeah.
Good enough to get a photo of Deion Sanders.
But
not good enough to show up to this show?
If I'm going to be waiting in line, I might as well get a photo. I mean, literally, guys, I couldn't get to where I needed to go. So, yeah, that's the holdup or whatever. But
on the show,
I did just see Tony Pollard right around the corner, so he's going to join us coming up in a little bit as well.
Great. Well, Drew, hey, look, Drew stepped in.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Someone also warned me not to give Cody the idea
of what?
Of acting like he's a YouTube influencer and have us have 9 people behind him walking around to make it seem like he's very, very important. They said don't give Cody the idea.
Also,
I sound like I'm going to think I'm important just because of that. It's just funny to do.
Coming up on social media, Stephen A. Smith gives his pick.
Okay.
Ran into Stephen
At
A.
610 Sports KC on Twitter.
That'll be coming up in
Instagram.
The next 5 minutes. We'll have it on there.
Beautiful. What can you tell me what his prediction was?
Can you give us a little tease?
Honestly, he gave a good answer, but I was so focused on making sure that he was in the video and I got the shot that I really wasn't paying as much attention. Plus, it's Stephen.
Did you just get a photo of Deion Sanders or something else?
Well, you think they were giving me an interview with Deion Sanders? You think?
Well, I didn't know if you got like a video of him talking or something. That's all.
No, it was just this was the closest video I could get, or the photo.
If you said, "Hey, I'm Alex Gold from Chiefs radio partner 610 Sports Radio," do you think that you get 5 seconds?
I kid you not. With some people, you can get pretty close. I could not get within
10 feet.
10 feet of the guy. I mean, I didn't even have my phone out yet, and they were already just preemptively being like, he's not stopping for interviews. He's not stopping for interviews. I wasn't even trying to get an interview. I honestly was on my way to the restroom, and then I got stuck.
Let's see who can physically get the closest. Let's just do a new contest. New contest.
He's going out with McAfee. That's the whole thing. He's over there by McAfee.
Who can physically get the closest to Deion Sanders?
I guess so.
Before someone tackles you.
Hey, you're coming to you're coming to Kansas City next year to take on the Kansas Jayhawks, Deion. That's we just.
Well, that's right. He's going to play at Arrowhead.
Deion will be at Arrowhead next year, coaching the Colorado Buffaloes.
That'll be a fun time.
That is very true.
Are you going to go to that game?
I think so. I actually might try to. They have a little 4-pack for the games at Arrowhead.
That game's going to be a sellout for sure.
A sellout? Dude,
yes,
NFL
yes.
Stadium's a sellout?
Well, no, if you I don't know how many seats
Colorado. It depends on how good Kansas is, and honestly, and how good Colorado is.
Yeah, I don't know how many seats Colorado has, but you think college football, and I know that these two programs are not like blue bloods, if you will, but in the SEC, you have, and in the Big 12, you got sellouts of 70,000 people.
But Kansas just reduced the size of their stadium, you know?
Yeah.
Not increase the size. No one's ever going to build these stadiums again. And I think Folsom, I just looked it up. I felt like it was not, I think 53,000. So, I mean, 20,000 or 15,000 less than Arrowhead seats. It might sell out gold. I'm not saying that, but I would definitely think, I like like you and I have talked about this from like a sports memorabilia perspective. I don't really own any. I own very little in that department. I don't like, I want to go to this game. I want to see an AFC. For the most part, I like the oddity things almost as much.
Really?
The last piece of memorabilia I tried to collect was when a guy threw a ball over the fence at Kaufman in the middle of the game, and I like the Freakazoid games. I went to the Royals opening day, the year of COVID. There were like 15 of this in a hollow stadium with no one in. I'm like, boy, what a weirdo game. That's what I like about the Kansas-Colorado
I hear you
game.
a little bit.
It's a freak game. It's a weird game. We were talking about this in Phoenix last year because the NHL team's playing at a college. I'm like, I am interested in your weirdo, why are we playing at Arizona State for NHL hockey stuff? I like the bizarre.
So you would have rather gone to KU when they were 2-10 against.
If it's in a weirdo arena, not at Memorial.
If it was at Arrowhead and KU was the 2-10 version.
I'm more interested in going in that. Okay. That's a rare circumstance. Now, look, MU and KU used to play at Arrowhead. It's not all that uncommon for KU to play a game at Arrowhead, but they're going to play a huge chunk of their season. The one that's more interesting next year than Kansas is seeing a game at Sporting. That's the game at Kansas I'm actually the most interested in. What I missed.
Myles Garrett.
I was going to say, is that Myles?
Myles Garrett walking by. He's doing some stuff.
Talk about a big dude. We saw T.J. Watt and now Myles Garrett.
Today's the day where
specimens.
a lot of the national shows have, like Kirk Cousins is over there too. Kirk Cousins.
Good old Kirk.
He's on with Pat McAfee.
Hey,
right
you guys
now.
should stand next to each other. People say you look like him. Let's get a photo.
If I could ever get him to actually come on the show or do that, I would gladly.
You look more like Jeff Darlington, I think, than Kirk Cousins.
I got that earlier today. Problem is today I'm not clean shaven. Kirk Cousins clean shaven. Today's not going to work. Today's not going to work.
Not a good day for it.
Today's not a good.
You need to both be clean shaven.
That's correct.
I also think that you'd look more like Kirk Cousins if you got in shape. Well, like you worked out, got a little buff. There might be something there.
Yeah, and I also, you might look like Christian McCaffrey, Drew, if you got ripped or whatever.
I'm working on it now, baby. I'm working on it.
If they could do it for those Marvel stars,
I always
like the right person, you could get absolutely buff.
If your only job for 8 months was to just get ripped, and money wasn't an issue for the program, absolutely, anybody could.
Correct.
But it's never happening. Don't worry. None of that's happening whatsoever.
The key example is look up a photo of Kumail Nanjiani. He was in a Marvel movie. He was a regular-looking, doughy dude like myself. They got him ready to be
doughy.
They made him ready to be in a Marvel movie, and he looked like a Greek god at the end of it. So yes, if you just had 1 year and you followed every piece of advice someone gave you and just worked out all the time, you too could look like Christian McCaffrey. I'm good. I kind of like.
I have heard stories of people
did you just say you're? Did you hold on? Stop that.
That seems like a lot of work.
Look. I mean, I'll just be quite honest. Did you say I'm good? If you're telling me you would rather have your physique than Christian McCaffrey's physique.
If it includes the work amount that Christian McCaffrey's put in it, yeah.
Well, of course it does.
Yeah. That's where I'm good.
Spencer Rattler.
He
drafted. He's here as well. Just walk by. If you're watching on the video stream, you can see right behind Drew. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Again, today's got everybody. We were just talking how it's hard to recognize. There's certain athletes though that are very easy to recognize.
I wouldn't have recognized him.
Spencer Rattler. He's a distinct look. Yeah.
Future backup to Mahomes, like a 6th-round pick. You know what? Why not?
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that he's a 6th-rounder. I don't know. At one point,
I don't know.
I'm trying to avoid getting my ass kicked by Bill Romanowski.
He did have a good
Senior
Senior
Bowl. You're
Bowl.
going to get your ass kicked by Spencer Rattler.
Maybe he goes higher, but I don't know. I'm trying to relate it to maybe he's the backup. I don't know if they take him instead of Gabbert.
The spot that we have on Radio Row, since it's on an Iowa way, they all have to walk past us. So that's why they're all heading to like the Pat McAfee show. Like Puka Nacua walked by us earlier. He's now on the McAfee show. So
you got a picture of T. Higgins, Bengals wide receiver,
future Chiefs wide receiver,
former Cincinnati Bengal, future
Did you see former Drew's favorite wide receiver?
He posted on Twitter the Vision Pro, and he said, "I'm trying to see my future." Or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of arrowheads in there. A lot of arrowheads.
All right. These things are like $3,500.
Oh, the Vision goggles or whatever they call them, glasses, something like that.
It
looks incredible. I mean, you could be sitting right here and have all to your right, you could literally have a giant screen. And you could have your Twitter open, you could have whatever, and while you're still just sitting here. That stuff looks insane.
Don't forget, if you need food for the game, Jefferson's got you covered. 15% off online orders for carry-out and delivery with promo code 610sports. Limit 1 per customer on a minimum of $40 orders. While we wait on Tony Pollard, who we hope will join the show here briefly.
Yes.
I do think if you look at where the Chiefs are currently and where we are heading into this game, there's no way it's going to be a blowout. It's just not. I was thinking about it from the Chiefs' perspective first, because somebody asked us yesterday when we went to go do a hit on VSiN. They had said, who's more likely to keep the game close? And I think, off the cuff, without even thinking about it, going come on, Chiefs, don't get blown out. We all know the stats of Mahomes and all that. Man, I looked further into the 49ers. There's a really good article up on The Ringer. The 49ers over the last 2 seasons, they also do not get blown out. You don't run away from that. This year, they were behind. They were behind good points, 2-3 scores at times. They won those games. Not only did they not get blown out, they came back and erased deficits quick. I think in this game in particular, the Chiefs should not feel comfortable with a lead. I know Andy likes the I'm up 10, we're all good here, I don't have to keep doing this. But they should not feel comfortable with a lead, because at this stage, the 49ers are likely to get that game close again.
Yeah, I'm with you on the belief that it's a close game. If you also think it's a lower scoring game, then that leans into that. We were taking a look at the betting markets for this. The Chiefs are plus 310 to win by 1-6. The Niners are a little bit better than that, but
probably because they're the favorite.
Sure, and then when you're looking at win by 6 or more, and there you start getting into in NFL circles that you start winning by 7 or more points, you're getting into more blowout territory. It's probably more likely that it's Kansas City because of the defense, but at the same time, the Chiefs played the Tampa Bay Bucs, and it was 31-9 in that Super Bowl. Yes, the O-line was a disaster.
It's one of the few times he's been blown in his career.
It is. Unfortunately, it did occur in a Super Bowl. But I do think the setup and how the game is played, if you think it's going to be perhaps a lower-scoring contest, it sets itself up to be a 24-21, a 20-17 type of game. And we're excited right here on Radio Row now to be joined by our next guest, presented by Spice & Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Pollard. Tony, it's great to have you on the show, man. How's it going?
Doing good. How you doing?
We're great. I need some advice. I think Chiefs fans need some advice because, look, you're in Dallas. A lot of people hate on the Dallas Cowboys just because the Dallas Cowboys. And here in Kansas City, it's kind of new to a lot of people that the Chiefs are starting to become the hated team as well.
You gotta learn to love it. You gotta learn to love it. Especially being a Cowboy, it comes with it. It's either or. Either you hate them or you love them. So it comes with the territory.
I think that's probably where the Chiefs are at now. If you're a Chiefs fan, you absolutely love them. When you're inside the league and you watch a team like the Chiefs have just consistent levels of success, how do you as an organization, how do you as a player be like, all right, how do we get to a level where every single year there's no doubt we're going to play at that stage?
You got to take everything one day at a time. That's the first thing. Not looking too far ahead, trying to set too far ahead goals and, just chop away one day at a time. Just try to make sure whatever day it is, you're going to be the best you can be that day, and then grow from that day and keep going from there. And then, hopefully you'll end up in those situations, those big-time games.
I know you weren't up against him because you're on the offensive side, but what do the defensive players say about Brock Purdy? What type of quarterback do you think he is as we're looking to this game? You guys have seen the 49ers. How good is Brock Purdy?
I feel like he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He does a great job, playing within himself, knowing his strengths and weaknesses. He does a great job taking what the defense gives him. And, on defense, once you play somebody that does that just takes the short checkdowns, take the short gains, that gets you hungry on defense. You get a little aggressive. Then you start biting a little early. Then you'll hit you with a double move or the deep bombs and the deep post and things like that. So I think he does a great job playing within himself.
When you look at what the running game offers, you're a perfect person to ask for this. What in particular makes Christian McCaffrey so dangerous, right? You're an opposing defense. I'm sure you've watched the man run. What makes him such a challenge?
He's a mismatch for almost everybody on the field. In the backfield, he's a mismatch for linebackers trying to tackle him. In the slot, he's a mismatch for a safety or a linebacker trying to cover him. He can make guys miss in the open field. He can make plays on his own when there isn't a play to be made. He has a lot of traits and things that you can't really coach. So that's the type of player that you want on your team.
We're talking to Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Pollard here on 610 Sports Radio. On the flip side here in Kansas City, Isaiah Pacheco. They're starting to use him a little bit more, and everybody loves watching him run. What do you see in Pacheco when you've taken a look at him?
I love his game. I love how he plays the game. I love his physicality that he runs with. It just shows on the field. And watching TV, it shows on the screen. When you see him run the ball, it looks like he's running angry. And he's just a physical player. He's also a playmaker, a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield, be dangerous in between the tackles, outside the tackles. He's one of those guys that can do it all.
How difficult it is to keep that. You mentioned the motor that he has and running angry. How difficult to run at that level consistently? Because even when he gets tackled, he pops back up, and he's talked about this, how he purposely does that to make sure opponents don't think, okay, we got the best of him.
I think it's a mind thing. Like, once you train that way for so long and, like, you make yourself play that way for so long, it becomes second nature, and then it just becomes what you do. So I feel like that's kind of where he is with it.
I'd ask you about Brock Purdy. What about the 49ers run defense? In this postseason in particular, they've been taken advantage of. Jahmyr Gibbs has gotten, ran well against them. We saw A.J. Dillon run well against them. What do you think about the 49ers run defense? Can Isaiah Pacheco take advantage there?
That's definitely something that they will have to get in check, to stop the run game for the Chiefs. So that's something you don't want them to get going. You don't want them to be able to run the ball and be able to drop back and give it to Mahomes and let him throw it anywhere he wants. So that's definitely something they're going to have to come together and find a way to figure it out.
When you look at guys like Pacheco because I think we asked Christian McCaffrey this question once about the value of running back in today's current NFL. When you watch the guys in this Super Bowl and what they mean to their team, is it hard to have those conversations where teams are like, running back, we'll just put anybody in, it's fine?
Oh yeah, it's definitely hard. Especially when you've been playing a position your whole, what you have to sacrifice to be one of the top guys at the position, the hits that you're taking, picking up blocks, running in between the tackles, chipping defensive ends and 3 techs, helping the O-line out, knowing the route concepts, having to know all the routes and being able to run routes out of the slot too. So just being able to do all those different things, it definitely should play in the part of.
We're talking to Tony Pollard. How do you take in the Super Bowl? You going to the game? You watching back home, or how do you go about watching the game?
I probably watch it at home. Yeah, at the crib.
Yeah, and what's next for you? Obviously, guys coming off the season and didn't end the way that you wanted it to. Dan Quinn's now over in D.C. What's the thought process just moving forward with your role down in Dallas?
Right now, as soon as the Super Bowl's over with, I'm back working, back grinding the whole offseason, and really just letting things play out, letting free agency play out, see where it goes from there. Knowing that I have a complete offseason this year to actually get better and better my game, not having to rehab and try to get back to square one, what I was doing last year. So I feel like it's only going to go up from here.
Speaking of Cowboys running back Tony Pollard, our predictions are brought to you by Spice and Foods, the official sauces of the Kansas City Chiefs. Who do you have winning the game?
I'm going to go KC.
Any particular reason why? We're fine to hear that. We're in Kansas City.
You're on a KC station. It's a smart answer.
It's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes. It's hard.
I know that sounded like, I just want to ask that one thing. I've heard that from multiple players and former players. Chase Daniel said it.
Yeah.
And other guys said it. That's something that reverberates when you're getting ready to play a team. It's hard, right, to shake the idea that guy, Patrick Mahomes, seems like kind of at this point, it almost gets described as mythical. Is that how it feels when teams are getting ready to face him?
I wouldn't say that, but you just got to know that you're going to have your hands full. You can have them, you can call the perfect blitz, perfect pressure, have them bottled up. He'll find a way to get out, escape, make a play on the run, and just hit somebody wide open. Just things that's not in the playbook, like things that you can't coach. That's why I play a guy like that.